name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind, a collection of advanced self-help quotes taken from a topical psychoanalytic, which long ago, as I understand it, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine. Helping one, as one shrink recently put it, get our soul, find our soul, and bring it back to where it belongs, i.e., back into our body so we feel embodied. That's the theory. That's one way, that's how some people present the healing process. That we had our sense of beingness, embodiment, ontological self, feeling self, at home within self, symbolized the myths and fairy tales like Snow White, Rapunzel. Okay, the Maiden King becomes a swan. Okay, Miss Echo, Miss Solvik. Okay, these characters are personifications of our beingness. Okay, now the jargon. Now sometimes you would simply keep it simple and say, "Oh, there's your soul," kind of thing, your beingness. So if you feel embodied like that, that's considered like the soul in your body like that. Now, in trauma, if the baby's traumatized, that soul flies away. Hence the image of the princess morphing into a swan and flying away. Or Snow White's in a coma in a box, or Rapunzel's in the tower, or Miss Echo turns to a statue. So this motif can be presented in an infinite number of ways. So you create a character that's a personification or a symbol of our beingness. So again, the symbol's not real. We see it, it's visible, but it's not real. But it points to something invisible that's real. So we create a symbol to communicate and get in touch with something invisible that's not real. So this invisible quality, at home within, feeling embodied. There's a hum there, feeling real and alive. You're present. There's various capacities that come about when a person has their beingness. They were loved enough to separate from the mother, so they have a distinct identity, and they don't got to dedicate their lives trying to save the mother, fix the mother, protest against the mother in some form, twisted way or another, not making sense like that. So we have our sense of beingness, our authentic self. Joy runs the console. Okay, our main capacity is that we can mourn losses. So sadness can run the console if there's a loss. Okay, now, so the reasonable temperament is kind of a calm, pleasant feeling, i.e., the serene, inexhaustible fullness of being. The fullness of being is a serene, kind of pleasant feeling. One of the main capacities of having your authentic self, your beingness, is that you're going to be kind of conscious and realistic about this presence of yours. Now, this presence of yours, it comes from the Great Spirit, and the Great Spirit gives everybody a presence that's a little unique. He likes it like that. The Great Spirit likes it that everybody has a little uniqueness. Now we're conscious. Now, embedded in having it, we'll be conscious of it. That's why we have a consciousness to be. Well, one of the reasons why we're conscious, so we can be conscious of our uniqueness, which we express. That's called a path of heart. Okay, meaning, okay, the bluebird of happiness flies out from within, says Shirley Temple. Okay, that's the normal state of affairs. The joy runs the console. Joy runs the console. Okay, mourning loss is a key one. Now, related to the beingness is a realistic. You see things in a reality perspective. There's evolutionary gratitude. There's appreciation for all that we've been through to get here, kind of thing. We got to learn from our mistakes, of course, and improve ourselves like that. So, number one, we're all members of the same species, Homo sapiens, and included in this construct is that we accidentally traumatized ourselves roughly 10,000 years ago and became Homo traumicus, but we're still Homo sapien. Maybe we could say Homo sapien traumicus, but we're still from that same massive family from the Nile River Valley area. I've been quoting somebody who said we became Homo sapien about 100,000 years ago, but I just came across a quote here the other day. They say, well, in the film, The Forbidden Planet, they imply it's 200,000 years. We became Homo sapiens 200,000 years, an evolution from our previous state, one theory called Homo bodoensis. So we used to be Homo bodoensis. He kind of looks like us without the cortex. Then we grew the cortex 100,000 years ago, 200,000 years ago, 300,000 years ago, whatever it is. And then we called ourselves Homo sapien. And we're the only hominid that grew the cortex. Only one hominid was around that grew the cortex. That's us. A little appreciation like this, you know. Yeah, this quote. So the Forbidden Planet sci-fi film made a reference to 200,000 years. And here's another one that said 300,000 years. Do we have it here? Oh, yeah, here it is. Um, okay, so a bunch of scientists and researchers at some famous university says, quote, that everybody on the planet is descended from the same woman. And this woman lived in Africa about 300,000 years ago. And descendants of the group she belonged to, okay, eventually migrated out of Africa, giving rise to all the people living today. That's a generally accepted theory that we spread around from Africa like that, and then we settled in different places, and then the confusing thing is while we were in different places, okay, there were trivial biological variations, how much sun exposure, diet, etc. Trivial, superficial, cosmetic variations. Okay, some people lost the quote unquote the tan, let's say, they lost the melanin. So the hair color, eye color, and tone of the skin color kind of changed. And nobody has white skin or black skin. It's a shade of beige to a shade of brown. We're talking about melanin, how much melanin is in the skin. So if the regular melanin is up to 6, the level 6, so it's a shade of brown. If the melanin dissipates over time, because to correspond with how much sun is around, um, then if the person has more of a shade of beige tone of skin. So everybody has some kind of quantity of melanin in their skin tone, get from 1 to 6 more or less. So that means our skin tone is what we need to be saying is that we're human beings with a shade of beige tone of skin, or maybe we have a shade of brown tone of skin. And Jane Elliott says a shade of beige, since you're dealing with melanin, is technically, scientifically, it's still a shade of brown. So we all still have a shade of brown tone of skin. Well, I'll hold the phone. Somebody said, "What about you who look very pale?" Well, that's maybe trauma. The blood circulation, the blood got diverted to the vital organs, and there's less blood like that. So, um, or the other way, they're pale, they got too much. Whatever it is, nobody has white skin. This is white, right? Nobody has white skin, and this is black, right? This, we get it in there? No, there it is. This this metal piece here, that's black. Nobody has white skin or black skin. We have a shade of beige to a shade of brown tone of skin. And diet, of course, affects things as well, and maybe lifestyle to some degree. But that's just, you know, what you learn to adapt in your environment, um, and the trivial biological variations. But the confusing thing is, while that took place, while we settled in different places for whatever 200,000 years, whatever it is, during that time, while we were kind of separated like that and lost contact with each other, okay, during that time, okay, in every grouping, whatever, in their respective places, more or less about the same time, roughly 10,000 years ago, okay, uh, became traumatized. We accidentally, in our simplicity and lack of self-awareness, in our confusion, we accidentally traumatized ourselves and created Homo traumicus. So here we are as Homo traumicus from 10,000 years ago. You know, due to the mismanagement of our discoveries, the brain chemistry, our reactivity, we went from village to pillage, and then you go from tolerant to prejudice. And that's a whole that's a 7-hour topic. I'm not going to get into it here, but but it's a key construct, because due to trauma we repeat. Oh boy, yeah, no, let's not do it. No, not this time. Let me do it. Let me run through it another time. It needs an update. The last time we ran through the thing called the 48 symptoms of Homo traumicus was almost a year ago. 2725 part 3 of 3, 7.5 hour video. I've made occasional references to it in the past year, but I've never done the full thing. It deserves, it needs a lot of kind of foundational kind of theories, um, to off to present it in some kind of partially in a to present it to the point where it can at least potentially do it some potential justice. You know, it's a huge topic, right? So we discuss as above, so below. Our behavior outwardly is a reflection of our inner state. So if the baby's soul was plundered, baby becomes the plunderer, plunders the planet. Mother plundered their soul. Mother polluted the baby, they pollute the planet. Baby polluted their soul. Okay, so we do outwardly um, what we do behaviorally outwardly. It's a reflection and ultimately a mirror in the communication to know our inner state. An inner state is a template created down, laid down by the original primal interaction with the mother. The mother was the world, baby in the world, template, schema, schematic, working model, intrapsychic structure, endopsychic structure, intrapsychic society, some kind of loop stencil like that, seared in, imprinted in. They even have a name for the chemical that's sealed in these neural circuits. It's the baby's understanding of himself and the world and how he dealt with it, how he coped with it. That's a problematic, painful setup he's got there. His energy can't be for his where it's supposed to be for his authentic self, because the authentic self didn't get a chance to be there. If the authentic self got flown away, and he's dealing with the survival battle with the mother and all the coping strategies around him, now he's cursed, so to speak. He's cursed. The myths and fairy tales, Marie Louise von France says, well, he can't be his full humanist, so he would say, well, he couldn't show his full humanity, so they would say he's cursed or bewitched or something. That means in repetition compulsion, he's going to recreate that scene hoping for a better outcome. He wants to change the past, undo the past, get the love that was needed in the past. Okay, so there's a whole thing called repetition compulsion. So in his repetition compulsion, he's going to cry for love. But very often he can't cry for love directly. He's got to find proxies to cry for love on his behalf. He plays the shaming mother and replays what happened to him by finding others who play him. He plays the mother, shames him the way the mother shamed him, and then do it in a fusion, double think, hocus pocus, auto hypnosis, flip flop. Okay, when the mother hurt the baby and the baby became the mother. Okay? Later, he's going to shame himself, called the Faustian deal, the Faustian bargain, the Faustian pact, called i.e. identification with the aggressor. Mother's the aggressor from the baby's point of view. To have a mother, he's got to act like her. And what did she do? She shamed him. So to have a mother, he's got to shame himself, i.e. sell his soul. Okay? So that's too painful always to do that. So he needs to find proxies to play him, make others see others as him, to believe that since others are him, and he has to shame his soul, he'll say, well, they'll be his soul, they'll have his soul, so he'll shame them, being loyal to the deal that he's got the power of the mother who shamed his soul. So yes, he still shames his soul, but it's a trick of the mind called projection, where he believes someone else has the soul. So he does both. He sells his soul, but the thing is, he just makes himself unaware of it. It's a distraction trick. It's called externalized living, scapegoating, blaming, projection, externalized like that. It's a thing to do to make him not aware that he's shaming himself. So he needs to find somebody to shame and hate, so he doesn't know that he's doing it himself. He is doing it himself, but he just doesn't want to be aware of it. To get away from the pain of it, he finds someone else to distract, and then he sees it distracted, i.e. externalized. He sees his pain kind of presented externally. It distracts him, but it's with him. So that's the trick, to deny that it's with him if he sees that it's out like this. Hold on a sec. Oops. Oh boy, I'm using that girl what I thought you should be. She said, no, 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 Mr. Can't you see? I'm a rip-off artist, the star of the show. Is there something here that perhaps I should know? Baby, you're a real good friend, don't push. I'm getting near the end, baby. You're a real good. Oh, I got it. The tech issue is I'm using this new budget phone. This is my regular phone. Um, I really miss. I really miss. This was. I've been using this for almost 7 years. It's the Honor 8S. Honor. I don't know if it shows up there. The Honor. Everything's upside down now. With this, the Honor 8S, a great little phone. It's considered to be a kid's phone, a very simple, minimalist, kind of basic budget phone. It's light as a feather, fits in your pocket. It suffered the elements, water, sand, wind. Okay, 3 continents, 1,200 videos here. Just this basic little phone, no plastic cover, nothing. It's been a great phone. They don't make them anymore. They don't make them anymore. What a pity. And so it's come to its end. But if I plug in the speaker and the battery, I can sort of use it as a music player. So I'm still going to use this for music. And what I'm holding in my other hand, this hand here, is a big old clunker I found in the clearance bin. They were moving it along to make space for the newer models. It's a budget basic phone, sort of not well known kind of thing. Um, so we'll see how it goes. But the one curious thing about this phone is the one strange, to my surprise, this phone has the automatic function to diminish the background sounds. So normally you'd hear a lot of water sounds, right? You'd hear the fan I've got going, and you'd hear sort of the noises over there and the construction behind me and the sky trains behind that building. Um, there's a lot of noise, banging and clanging all over the place, but you might not really be hearing it, I think. So this phone will just focus on the audio in front of it and blot out the background noises, which allows me to do more videos here at this Swan place. I'll show you the Swan when he makes an appearance. I figured out his routine. He'll come later on. You'll see him in about 2 hours, or maybe in an. Oh, is that him there? Oh no, no. Okay, when he makes an appearance, well, you'll see him. You'll see him in the background behind the bridge there. But the problem is that these wires keep slipping out on me all the time. Okay, never mind about that. Oh, maybe I could just. Hey, here's an idea. I've got like a little battery. I've got like a few minutes if I just use this. No. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, barely. Eh? Let's um, let's do it to the "I love you" part. Is there something here that perhaps I should know? It's really good. That's the fun of the song. That's Kenny Shields. He was the lead singer of a band called Street Heart back in the 70s. That's off their second album called Under Heaven, Over Hell, their best album. It's got Star on there, Storyteller, Hollywood, and a few other good songs. And and just before Kenny Shields passed away, he did a cover of Nature's Way, a tribute to um, the band the band Spirit, who did that song back in the early 70s. And Christopher Cross does Nature's Way as well. Anyways, I'm experimenting with that opening riff. I'm just sort of experimenting to see if this would be a good um, opening riff for our. Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind. Quotes to help us reclaim ourselves and get ourselves back to ourselves. Needs a bit of work, right? Okay. So repetition compulsion, yeah, that's a. Um, so there's a thing called identification with the aggressor. If the baby's so pained by the mother, if the mother's so misattuned, so malattuned to the baby's needs, the signals, doesn't understand the baby's signal, the rapport isn't there, the communication isn't there, the attachment got broken. Usually it's at birth when you remove the placenta and the cord. If you remove the placenta and the cord from the baby, that's the bridge to the mother. You take away the bridge to the mother. The baby lost his mother. He freezes up. The soul flies away. Okay, now you want to get it back to midlife. So these quotes are trying to help us get it back. So they're a bit. We could describe them as a bit of a lantern giving us night vision, okay, to help us see what's going on, know what's going on, give us consciousness, so we can get back the light, the beingness, and then be the light, and then you shine the light. You are the light. So that's the second song I wanted to. That's the second song I wanted to experiment with here by the classic rock band Harlequin. They've got a song called "You Are the Light." But give me a second to fix the thing. Hold on a sec. So I want to experiment with the idea that these quotes give us night vision, giving us light, the light of consciousness, to help us reclaim our beingness, which is lets us be conscious of our beingness, and then we can shine that light, our uniqueness, and then we can be the light. So find the light. Um, so these quotes are the light to help us get back ourselves, so we can be the light and shine our light, kind of thing. Oh boy, the technology is really falling apart on me here. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Yeah, hold on a sec. Jeez, this music setup's not working here. Yeah, let's try that again. These quotes are the light to help you find your light, because you are the light when you shine your light, when you find the light, because you are the light. But we're not hearing it here for some reason. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's going on with this? I've got this dollar store speaker and this yeah, what's going on here? I gotta fidget with the thing to make sure it sticks in. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Oh, let's try. Okay, hang on. Wow, what's going on here? What happened here? I can barely hear it. My goodness. Hold on a sec. Okay, I'm gonna have to bail on this then. Okay, let's just. Wow, unexpected hiccup here. Let me just do it with the direct to direct. Okay, let's try one last time here. So these quotes, um, some have been referred to as a lantern giving us night vision, says Jeanette Paris, so we can find the rampions, the radishes in the witch's garden. Okay, metaphor meaning something about ourselves that we don't know, some unconscious elements, something about ourselves that we don't know. It's in the dark, it's in the soil, underground. Got to pull it up and bring and reintegrate it, reclaim it, and then when you possess it, um, you're getting back yourself, healing and wholeness. The more whole you are, the more healed you are, the more you connect with yourselves and get back yourself, the more you can shine your light, be the light, kind of thing. You are the light. Crazy for you. Even when you're here, sometimes you are fine. You keep telling me everything is gonna work out right. Don't you feel so cool? It's me to style. Don't know you like it say go by the rules. Better be smart. Out of your head, not your heart. Even when you're here, sometimes you have to fight. You keep telling me everything is gonna work out right. You are the light, burns in the night. You are the light. You are the light. Okay, got some work to do here. I need a new cable or something. Yeah, I keep all my mistakes and bloopers. It's not a vanity project. It would be nice if I could deliver this smoothly, professionally. I have no training in presentation skills. I never went to acting school or broadcasting school. Um, you know, I never did any, theater. So I'm not a shrink professor, midwife, doula, nutritionist, gynecologist, cultural anthropologist, historian, biologist, chemist, um, you know, archaeologist. I'm the compiler of the quotes. I'm your humble compiler. I'm trying to learn this perspective. It's no one's really teaching it, kind of thing. Um, uh, to enter into what they call an analytic institute, a shrink school, you need a minimum of a master of MSW, a minimum. And I don't want to go back to school for that kind of thing. Um, so yeah. Um, so I'm just reading the books written by the shrinks to see if I can pick it up on my own. But to help me learn, I talk about it to help me learn them. So the give back from my anxious, anxiety-filled, mistake-ridden presentations is that the quotes are posted below, and that's the main thing. That's the main give back here. That you click the more link, you see all the quotes there. Robert Bly says, read, so you get a batch in each video. Sometimes uh, shorts, sometimes short like this, sometimes longer like that one. On average, 10 quotes per video, and so that works out to roughly 10 minutes a day, like Robert Bly says, 10 minutes a day. And then just pick one quote that you like in each batch, and then email it to yourself. Make a note of it. Use it as a prompt to free associate, a springboard to free associate with. What does this quote remind me of? What does this quote suggest to me? And whatever feeling comes up, you validate for yourself. You validate for yourself. I must have a very good reason for feeling, fill in the blank, whatever you're feeling. What's the hardest thing about this feeling? Fill in the blank, whatever feeling that is. And just free associate and see what comes to mind. And then if it does, and if the next day you get a dream, you do the same kind of thing. Just free associate from the dream sequence. Your unconscious is saying to you, hey, you, it's like this in your soul today. You say to your unconscious, thank you, unconscious self. It's like this in my soul today. And then you got to do the work to unpack it. Okay, what does this dream snippet that I got remind me of? What does it suggest to me? And the feeling I must have. This is what. So this is what I'm trying to feel. This might be what I'm having difficulty feeling. So the unconscious is trying to communicate to you. So it's sending you letters. It's sending you letters. Unanalyzed dreams are like unopened letters from your soul, says John A. Sanford. When I say John A. Sanford, I mean the guy who wrote Healing and Wholeness, Invisible Partners, that John A. Sanford. The one who puts religious stories on the psychological couch. He unpacks religious stories. Once again, whenever we mention religion, it's only in the context of when religion is being used to deceive people and as part of the plunder system, the pillage system. We're not talking about victims of the pillage system. So that needs a lot of preface. That needs a huge disclaimer, that part. So we do have a thread on religion. It's jam-packed with psychology. Oh my God. It's just the suitcase is bursting. It's just a jam-packed with psychology. So there's a lot of material there. Um, my goodness. One shrink said, you can get a whole course. You can understand most of psychology just if you focus on the psychology of religion. There's really a lot there. But and John A. Sanford is sort of maybe one of the key authors in that area. His father nudged him along. His father said, "Gee, son, I think somewhere missing something here. I have all these psychology books here. I'm gonna pass them on to you. You pass the banner on to you. Figure out what's going on. There's something's missing here." So, and that's what he did, John A. Sanford. Yeah, I'm still trying to track down his audio. He did a lot of audio lectures, and they were recorded um, by an audio recording company called Journey into Wholeness. But when he passed away, that company passed away, and all of his audio mysteriously are missing. So I'm hoping somebody who has them will post them and that kind of thing. Let's go back to identification of the aggressor, a key defense mechanism. We study all the defense mechanisms. One of the key ones is identification with the aggressor or the Faustian deal, etc. So if the baby's so pained by the mother, she's misattuned, malattuned, she's shaming her baby, trying to remember that she had been shamed. The mother was shamed, but she forgot. She's trying to remember that her mother shamed her. So she shames her own baby in her attempt to remember that she had been shamed. In the meantime, the child's being shamed and not getting his needs met. But the positive attention is that the baby's mother's trying to remember that she had been shamed so that she won't shame the baby if she can remember. That's intergenerational trauma. If she doesn't remember, she's going to shame the baby. If that baby crosses over, identifies with her, they grow up, they'll shame their child, trying to remember that the mother shamed them. So somebody's got to pause. Okay, find the light, be the light, share the light. If I had my way, you'd never be far. Cause you are my guiding star. Even when you're free, sometimes you're hard to find. You keep telling me everything's gonna work out right. You are the light, birds in the night. the light and they're the swans. These swans are shining their light. These swans, they are shining their light. They're being what they're meant to be. They're embodied. They're embodied. So they're shining the light. They're being embodied. When you're embodied, that's one way of saying, I think, that you're shining your light if you're embodied like that. They're being who they were meant to be. They were embodied. They stay embodied. They're still embodied. They're embodied. With humans, there's a problem here. Since we're a traumatized version of ourselves, we rob ourselves of that embodiment. So we lose that kind of light and want to get it back. So that's the whole project. We had our beingness. We lost it. Want to get it back. Okay, the golden ball went down the well. Joy and sadness in the distant film inside out got souped away. They want to come back. Now, by the way, all of the joy for which you pray is 100 tears away. So when joy and sadness got souped away, first joy had to come. First sadness had to come, and then joy could come. That was sort of the main message in Inside Out 1, that sadness had to run the console first, and then joy can run the console, come back. Inside Out 2, same thing. In the end, joy runs the console. But you got to get sadness first, then to joy. So that's the natural response to loss, because when you admit a loss, you're getting your beingness. You need a beingness to admit a loss. You need a beingness. Somebody's got to feel sad. Where's that somebody? You got to get that somebody. But feeling sad brings to somebody. Having a somebody allows you to loss. It kind of goes together. I feel there for am. So you're shining your light. If you can more losses, there's you're being. If you're being, that's you make sense. You're making sense. You're embodied. You're ethical. You're moral. You're virtuous. You have gratitude and empathy. You see the third side of the coin. Okay, you understand that when people are crying for love, it might be coded, and they're traumatized, and you know that we're all homotraumicus. So you're curious and you wonder about this, because we're all one family. Literally, technically speaking, Jen Elliott says we're all cousins still, on average 30 to 50 times removed. It's kind of hard to believe, because when you're traumatized, you're just projecting like crazy. Okay? Because when a baby's traumatized, he sees the mother as filled with envy, hatred of the good. He becomes, in a Faustian deal, he's got to hate goodness to have a mother. So if you see other people out there, that's perceived as an other that reminds you of the mother. Okay, so it reminds you of the mother. You hate your mother for what she did, so you hate the other because other reminds you of the mother. You put a dash between the M and the O in the word mother. You put again, M-O. So you see the other. The prototype is the mother. How do you feel about the mother? That's how you feel about the other. Plus, the other is seen as different. Wait a minute. Were they loved to be different? That means that's goodness. Hatred of the good. Gotta hate goodness. So you hate the other because you think they were loved, or you hate the other because you think they're your mother. So this is troublesome stuff here. This is we're not thinking straight here. We're traumatized thinking. In this traumatized thinking, we're coming from the place from the baby's point of view, where he was terrorized by his mother. He saw the mother as a monster that wants to eat him. That's a survival issue. So again, the baby is too vulnerable and tender. It's kind of obvious. It goes without saying, the baby's passive and helpless and totally trusting. If the baby didn't get his needs met, if the connection's not there with the mother, he thinks he's a goner. Somebody said it's kind of like any animal in the savannah, separated from the group or something. The tiger's gonna come and gobble them up or something. So it's kind of like your stress. Your body's gonna send you stress hormones. You'd be flooded with the toxicity of so much cortisol like that. You might be a goner like that. So he's fighting for survival. He doesn't want to feel that. So he's gotta do some tricks of the mind. He's a master magician of the mind like that. A genius magician in the mind. Somebody said. Did you say something? Where is he? Were you trying to say something? You must have a very good reason for squeaking. You were squeaking because you have a need. It's either connection for food, and your buddy's coming along. Maybe you want to play or something. Maybe you want a variety of food. Maybe they're giving you the same kind of food all the time. Maybe he knows what's going on. Well, what do you say, Swan? Your buddy was just squeaking over there. What's that about? They're babies, believe it or not. They're less than a year old. Those two. Where are we here? We were talking about identification with the aggressor before I got the call of the swan. Oh, there he is there. Now, it's most likely food, right? Obviously, he's looking for food, right? For survival. Okay, maybe they don't want to spoil him or something. I don't know. Okay, where are we here? So I got off track here. Oh, yeah, a little. I hope you're hearing me okay because with my old phone, you wouldn't be hearing me too well with the fan and all the construction behind me here. I have a cacophony of noise all around me. Um, but the last time I did a video here, the background noises were muffled. So let's see if that's the case again here. So, okay, so if the mother didn't get enough love for her to differentiate, okay, and have her beingness and be embodied, okay, the normal state of affairs to be embodied. If you're not embodied, that's a huge pain. Emily Dickinson, there's a pain so utter. Okay, the trauma, that's a pain so utter. It swallows substance up. Okay, your soul gets gulped down. And in the Greek myth, your core, your authentic core, earth opens up, she gets pulled down. And then you got the chasm. And inside of it too, you see the chasm, which leads to sarcasm. If you got the chasm in your mind, in your psyche, in your feeling, in your system, okay, in your unconscious, you're going to be very sarcastic, very angry at everybody. You're going to hate everything and everybody. You're going to be very sarcastic. If you got the sarcasm, the chasm's there. Okay, when the baby's needs don't get met, the earth opens up, she gets pulled down, lost down this black void of the sarcasm like that. And then the mercy is that the person will go in a swoon. The brain will send you endorphins to numb the pain, okay, to put you in a trance, in a hypnoid state. Okay, so you'll be in this kind of dreamy, kind of slightly, mildly constant disassociative state that keeps you, that sponges and makes you numb to the pain. So you can kind of go around the chasm, maybe you can kind of go over the chasm, um, but you see, that's the issue. You're spending your whole life avoiding the chasm. You're spending your whole life avoiding the memory of the trauma that you lost your soul. So the hero's journey is we got to get that soul back. Now you can't just jump in, kind of thing, automatically. What happens is you want to build a nest, okay? And out of the nest, a firebird might fly up from the chasm, phoenix from the ashes, okay, and then there might be an egg now, an egg in the basket. Psychoanalysis looks for an egg in a basket that's missing. Okay, but so first we weave the basket. Okay, the phoenix or the firebird can fly up from that chasm and lay the egg there, and there's a new potential. And you eat the egg, that's new potential. So now you're beginning. Now um, you're psychologically born, virgin birth. Woodman calls it. You got you're new. It's a new birth. It's just you, virgin birth motif. That's a motif found in all kinds of stories and all over the place. It's not. Woodman's book is entitled that the virgin. Her whole book is dedicated to that point. That the phrase virgin birth is a psychological metaphor. That death of your false self is the birth of new life. That beginning of the birth of your new life. That beginning point when the death of your unreal hope, your false lies, your false living, your neurotic pride, your hubris pride. Okay, your greed, your envy, the death of all that nonsense, infantile rage, pettiness, revenge, all that stuff. The death, the realization of that point, that's like a virgin birth point. That there's a new birth potential. It's just you. It's pure virgin you birth, new beginning. Not called up. Now you're gonna be psychologically born. That's the beginning of your psychological birth. Man's main task is to give psychological birth to himself. We do it by the quotes, theories, reading, talking, free association, dream interpretation, okay, making inferences, facing unreal hopes, facing the fantasy that if you repeat the trauma in the present symbolically as a new addition to the past, you're going to change the past? Come on. If mother shamed you and you shame others, your past is going to be changed? Or you have the hope that some pint of ice cream can be mother's sweetness back in the past? Really? Come on. Or you think that if you pull the slot machine enough times, you'll get mother's positive response back in the nursery. Come on, a slot machine? Well, mother was cold and refusing. The slot machine is cold and refusing. It's alluring and promising, but refusing. Mother was alluring and promising and refusing. So you think by going to the slot machine, you're going to get mother's love back in the past? Okay, this is this someday fantasy nonsense. Okay, or you think um, just somehow that maybe you show up the mother, expose the mother, tell the world what she was like by imitating her and doing to others what she did to you, and you're kind of a protest. Never forgive her, be loyal to her. So you might act negatively to tell the world that she did that to you. Or you be dysfunctional and self-defeating because you can't let mother off the hook for hurting you. And if you were successful, that's kind of like forgiving her, but that's betraying how you felt by the trauma. So you'll stay self-defeated like that. So you'll be afraid of success. And if the father didn't come and protect you and guide you and show you and protect you and show you and guide you and lead you, well, you might be passive waiting for that because you don't want to give up that kind of hope. Because if you give up that kind of hope, then the fantasies mother's going to eat you. So you're passive like that. So for more on that point, go to the Twilight Zone episode called Gabe's Story. Gabe's Story from the Twilight Zone talks about this point. In the Gabe story, he faced that traumatic script. Yeah, yeah. There's a little group just sort of beside me here. I'm not sure what they're planning to do here. Okay, so where are we here? Okay, so we got to face this someday kind of these someday ideas. Oh, someday, if I recreate in the present a new version of the past by casting people into roles like a drama to represent the past, I'll change the past because that part of the brain doesn't know time. It's the unconscious. It's driven. Your energy's in there. You use the present just to to replay the past, hoping to change the past. Someday it'll work. Nonsense, right? Okay, you gotta also face this false belief that we created that babies make an existential conclusion about themselves if they feel pain with the mother. They think mother's punishing them. They think therefore they did something wrong, that they're guilty, that they're in debt to her. That they didn't save her. They didn't please her, not what they want him. He feels guilty and defective. Okay, you got to update this nonsense. No baby's born with a sense of innate, original born guilt, debt, sin, nonsense. Oh, there's another one. What an awful thing to say to somebody. Okay, babies are not born like that. Nobody's born with that awful, disturbed, perverted thoughts. That's a sign of very angry trauma to think like that. The baby's born to be loved. The baby's born to have a mother. The baby is born to be soothed and seen and accepted and to go through a developmental process. He's born in paradise in uterus. He needs a little extra paradise after birth. He needs a time to think he's very important. He needs a time to explore. And age 3 to 4, he gets a psychological birth. He's born for this natural developmental process to be himself so he can be his light, have the light, shine the light. He's meant to have that kind of thing. He's born to be loved, born to develop through developmental stages. That he can become an adult. He can become an elder, generativity. He's going to be an elder. He's born to go through developmental process. He wasn't born with some kind of basic uh, flaw, like that's nonsense. The baby believes that when he's in so much pain with the mother. If he's in so much pain with the mother, he's frozen there. He's frozen in this pain. Um, and then he's got to, for his survival, he's got to say, Mother's wonderful, but, and he's no good. To somehow get along with her, he's got to make that kind of deal like that. So you got to upgrade. You got to at midlife, you face this developmental thing and update this. You got to update this kind of thing. Yeah, and a key one is oppositional thinking. The baby, when he's traumatized, engages in a splitting mechanism. Sees to cope with the mother. There's no mother. Oh, there's no mother. What's there then? Well, some monster is hurting him. He freezes up the soul and all that. But he's got to have a mother. How is he going to survive? He's got to think his mother's safe. He needs paradise. Oh, hallucinate a goddess. Okay? And keep it separate. No, mother's not a goddess or a demon. But the baby thinks that way in a thing called primary mentation, primary process thinking. So he thinks that way because that's the baby's imagination in the beginning like that. It's pre-verbal. There's no words there. Everything's images. Things are wildly exaggerated, and there's no time in there. There's no place in there. It's spacious and flip-flop and Alice in Wonderland, topsy-turvy. That can turn to that. That image can poof to that image. That image can poof around to that image. That can symbolize that. That can condense to make a new one. It's all wild and chaotic like that. Uh, Make up your mind. What are you going to do? this, this little group just standing right beside me, chatting. Well, why don't they decide? Maybe I can go for a little walk. Just to, yeah. Let me do that. I don't want to be triangulated into some discussion. Hold on a second. Well, let me. Gee, what an unexpected. That's the first time my speaker completely went out on me. It's either the speaker or the cable. I don't know what it is. No, it's still out, eh? Jesus. Wow. What happened here? Look, it's completely out, eh? The speaker's completely. Wow. All right. Forget it. Forget it. Gee, they're still at it, eh? Let me let me look at that. They're very sensitive. I was just gonna stand up and they moved over. They felt it, eh? They look pretty symbiotic. That kind of. Oh, the symbiotic issue. Oh my God, yeah. We do have some quotes on the symbiotic issue. That's a tough topic. Undeveloped thread, very undeveloped thread. So the baby needs symbiosis with the mother. The baby needs that blissful oneness with the mother. You know, um, so if that's disrupted, if that's failed, they can spend the rest of their lives in a constant craving for that merging and that fusion. They're afraid of it, but they want it. Um, so there's a lot of fear about it because you could be engulfed, you could be abandoned, but you need him. The baby needs a blissful oneness. The baby needs a blissful oneness like that. sitting. Oh no, they sat. Oh, they're sitting behind me. All right. All right. At least they're sitting. Where are we here? Oh, they must be preparing for another function here. I've been here three times in a row. It was fully booked with events, weddings, and company events. And this is a very popular venue. Very nice venue, by the way. Oh, hi. Well, that's the one of the managers. Yeah, welcoming, friendly stuff. Um, I'm a bit of a bonus for them because people don't usually use this outdoor section in the heat during the week in the mid afternoon like this. It's Monday around 3 o'clock kind of thing. Unless there's an event. Oh boy, oh boy, my anxiety is really coming out today. It's really been amplified with the faulty tech. That's a disappointment, eh? I hope it's just the. No, this is the built-in cord. This is the cord they give you for this. Yeah. So why would that fail on me? I barely use this thing. Son of a gun, eh? Unbelievable. Oh, and they say Bluetooth, but it doesn't for some that doesn't work either. This Bluetooth thing. I got a Bluetooth. It doesn't work on the other phone. My phone doesn't register or something. Or doesn't even turn on here. All right, all right. I want to get the music back into our program. So for over a year, I haven't played any songs. So I'm just starting to get some songs back in. So we played a few songs by Katie Lee. Um, she's got some songs about psychology and the therapy process from an album called Songs of Couch and Consultation, Shrinker Man, Repressed Hostility Blues, Properly Loved. Her big hit is called It Must Be Something Psychological. And I got a song by Warren Zevon called If You Won't Leave Me, I'll Find Somebody Who Will. Just a short 45-second song. Um, Lots of songs from around the world, different genres, different languages, you name it. Recently, a song from Nigeria, a couple from Brazil, several from all around the place. So, okay, let's go back to let's pick up let's finish back on the Faustian bargain thing. So the baby makes this Faustian bargain. If the baby's hurt by the mother, not his needs are not being met. He thinks the mother's a monster. Um, how's he gonna live? How's he going to live? Well, first of all, he engages in splitting. He copes with the pain by splitting it, thinks the mother's a goddess, not a monster. But the truth is, he's more closely related to the monster than the goddess. That happens when the mother is more painful than loving. It splits, and then he picks, he denies the painful side, hallucinates the goddess side as a trick to survive, known as the splitting mechanism. This leads to later on, if it's unresolved, to oppositional thinking, either or thinking, black or white thinking, okay, Eve white, Eve black, okay, adversarial thinking, okay, jungle slogan thinking. Okay, the etiology of all this jungle slogan thinking, um, adversarial thinking, oppositional thinking, comes from the splitting, because the splitting means he won't have his beingness. That means he was in a state of survival with the mother. So if splitting is going on, that's means he didn't get enough love to have himself. That means the baby was in a battle with the sea monster, the guy with the horns, with the alien, with the cyclops, with the boar queen. Take your pick. Any kind of scary entity that's enraged and wants to gobble them up. So the which one eat me? Hansel or Gretel. Okay. That's we're not saying the mother is that. We're saying that's how the baby feels. That's how the baby felt and feels with the mother. And then he thinks that's his mother, that image. Another coping strategy to deal with the frustrating mother. So he's got to manage these things. He's got to again. He's a mad genius in his mind. He's got to lie to himself, deceive to himself. He's got to make up all kind of tricks. So that's the mentation does this topsy turvy thing. So that's why he's a bit of a intuitive genius to figure a way to adapt to this frustrating mother. She's narcissistic. She's bitter. She's envious. She's enraged. She's fighting with her mother. Transfers the mother onto the baby and hates the baby, thinking the baby's her mother. Wants to control the baby, thinking she's controlling the mother, or expects the baby to serve her and be a good mother for her. Or she sees the baby as herself and wants to shame the baby the way she had been shamed, and then flips it. And then after she shames the baby, she hates the baby because then the baby's suddenly seen as a mother. She hates the mother. What does the baby do with all this nonsense? The mother's a wild, savage monster, right? How does the baby cope with this? Okay, deny it, split it off, hallucinate a goddess, and keep these images separate. If that's going on, he didn't get enough love to be himself. That's the question that he was terrorized. He thought it was a goner. He split because he was a goner. So he's gonna live life in this kind of instinct of survival all the time. Jungle slogans, survival slogans, adversarial thinking, either or thinking, my greedy, your greed. Baby thinks, well, if I'm not going to be greedy, this image is going to eat me. My greed, and then projects that image onto everybody. Says, my greed or your greed. That's actually one of the slogans of the short sellers. They have that slogan. Oh, if I'm not greedy, you're going to be greedy. Okay, they don't understand that not everybody is traumatized so early on. If many people are traumatized post 18 months, and they don't do that crossover Faustian thing. But trauma prior to 18 months, they cross over like that and they see everybody like that. Their template's there. So if they feel no good, mother's dangerous, they think everybody's no good and dangerous. They see everybody's them because the fusion is still there. Baby and the mother are fused, symbiotic, merged, one. How they are, the mother's like that. They project themselves in the mother, flip it either way, and everyone is like them. So that's why they can't see beyond that kind of thing. They can't see beyond the end of their nose. It says um, Dan, the character Dan, in the Carol Burnett show episode entitled "Visit from Dan." We discussed that one recently. Oh, here he is. Hey, all right. Oh, here's the star of the show. My goodness, haven't seen him in a while. He's a full-grown adult. He's an older guy. Let's see, can we get him in here? He's been around forever. He's sort of the restaurant mascot kind of thing. They have him on their website and things like that. He's a bit of a celebrity here. How you doing, huh? My goodness. Oh, you're barking too, eh? Aha. Actually, he's looking good, eh? Well, this bird should know by now that I've never given them food, so you'd think he'd figure it out by now. Maybe he thinks I'm going to change my mind. Maybe he has no sense of time. Maybe he thinks, well, in this moment, it is what it is, so give me food. He once jumped up to grab the phone, actually. Oh, you're back? I think I'm confusing him. He thinks maybe he's going to get some food. I don't want to. You probably need permission if you're going to feed them. You don't want to interrupt their. Oh, okay, where are we here? Yeah, they're planning for a big event. I can see them preparing. All right, who cares, right? Somebody watching this in the future. Why did he make that comment? How is it relevant? Focus on the quotes. Give us the content. Come on, we want the content. We want the insights. We want the light. Give us the light here. Don't give us some details about some domestic issue of the staff. Um, so it's part of my anxiety, I guess, right? Is it to be seen? Am I saying this because I don't want to be alone or something? Or is it just a filler to buy time to get back on track? Or is my anxiety are my anxious comments a defense against my feeling of anxiety or an expression of my anxiety? So why? Okay, we have a thread on anxiety. Anxiety usually means something's reminding you of the past and you don't remember it, and it comes to you in the form of stuttering and stop, and the way I speak, and stops and starts and ums and ahs and self corrections, and maybe sweating and maybe oh my god! I just saw an episode of the Twilight Zone. Another one. Um, I won't talk about it too much. It's called. It's from the original one, the first one, 1961 or something. Um, season two, I think. An episode entitled "Nervous Man, Nervous Man in a $4 Room." It's about some mafia punk, some mafia thug or something, um, and he's not high up on the mafia hierarchy. He's sort of on the bottom, so he gets mistreated and all that. So he's really the bottom of the bottom of the bottom, right? He lives in a $4 room or something. He lives in a dingy, windowless, old, smelly room or something, with no heat, no fan. So this guy's rock bottom. This guy, right? And the mafia boss comes in, gives him an assignment, says, "I'm going to give you a promotion if you want, but chances are it'll be the end of him if he goes along with it." Um, so he hit the rock bottom of the rock bottom. So he looks into the mirror and he sees a personification of his conscience, you might say, or his alter ego, you might say, or his double self, or his the good side of him, you might say, that he buried and denied. So there's a part of him that's everybody has some positive memories about themselves. So a personification of whatever positive memories he has about himself, whatever amount of it is, even if it was just in the uterus. Everyone's got some positive memories about themselves. Okay, obviously, right? So that personification of those memories of him being loved, with self-esteem, with confidence. Okay, he looked into the mirror. Literally, he looked into the mirror, and he saw himself. Um, but that self of his that he saw in the mirror was that positive side of him. And now he's dialoguing with his reflection. So his alter ego or his positive self, his good self, like that. And his good self says, "Look, enough of this. I got to call the shots here. We've been doing it your way for so long, and it's a miserable, and it's going to be the end of both of us here. We're on the verge of both of us being goners here. So you got to let me call the shots. You got to let me decide things. Um, who are you? Well, I don't get this. Who are you in the mirror? You look like me. Um, well, I'm you. I'm you." And the episode is featured around this monologue, uh, this guy and himself, like that. And the actor does a pretty convincing job. He plays his confident self versus his weaselly, icky self, right? Um, it might be a little bit like if Henry Winkler could talk with the Fonz or something. No, no, that's not fair. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, scratch that one. Okay, so he looks into the mirror, and somehow he's in touch with some innate goodness about himself that long forgotten, long lost is what he needs. Um, that he is okay. Um, that it's foolish what he's doing. Um, and the man in the mirror, okay, mirror. They call him Mirror Man. Oh yeah, Mirror Man. I'm reminded of the song called Mirror Man by Prism, sung by Ron Tabak, the singer Ron Tabak of the band Prism. They've got a song called Mirror Man. I looked at the lyrics, and sure enough, it pretty much describes this episode. And I don't see it openly said, but I'm pretty confident. Chances are that song, Mirror Man, um, is inspired by that episode of The Twilight Zone where the man looks in the mirror and he's talking to Mirror Man, the man in the mirror. It's his authentic self. So the man in the mirror is his conscience, his good self, his lost, forgotten, potential good self, who, okay, who he is meant to be, the goodness about him that he's denied. So this voice is coming up and he's saying, look, you got to come from my point of view. I got to run the show here. The good side's got to run the show here. So come on. And he's saying, he's pushing him away. He's, no, I don't know. This is strange for me. Who are you? I don't get this. Look, I'm you. Listen, I'm you. You're me. What are you talking about? I don't remember you. Well, look. Then the man in the mirror had to remind him and tell him little anecdotes and stories. So you're really a part of me? That's right. I'm a part of you. You got to listen to me. If we do it your way, we're both goners. So you got to listen to me. I can get us out of this mess. Um, and he's resistant to this. He's afraid of this. So they did a fun little thing with the mirror, the flopping mirror, the rotating, revolving mirror thing. I think that might have been um, the ongoing process, the dialogue, unconscious, conscious, unconscious, conscious, unconscious, conscious. So he's working through, suffering through, processing through what's going on here. How can I get back myself? What's the real me? That's not me, the real me, fake me, false me, true me, false me, true me. Where's it going to end up on? So spinning around like that. Okay. So a little suspense like that. Which way is it going to go? Is it going to be a morality lesson that he should listen to his authentic self, or do we see a happy ending where he listens to his true self? So nobody knows. It's spinning around like a wheel of fortune kind of thing. So a little suspense on that end. The viewer's wondering, is he going to listen to his authentic self, let the true self call the shots, or is he going to, or is this story sort of Rod Sterling's message? Look what happens to you when you don't listen to your true self. So it could go either way with the Twilight Zone. It can easily go either way. So you see the. um, so I won't wreck it for you. I won't tell you the conclusion. Um, it's only 20 minutes long, the episode, called Nervous Man in a $4 Room or something. Um, the scenery is very unpleasant. It's in a dive of a place. It's in a dingy, grungy, oily dump of a hotel, like a motel on the, I don't know. It's probably the poorest, dumpiest place there is or something. Um, he's got no facilities or anything. He's got a phone though. Oh, they are preparing. Oh my God! I should find out when this is gonna be. Oh, maybe I should leave here. Hold on a second. Hey, what time does your party begin? Oh, tomorrow. Oh, okay. Oh, they're preparing for tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow. Is there a song with those lyrics in it? Um, yeah, I wasn't planning on talking about it. Um, what I didn't like about the episode was there was no analytic insight about how the person could accept Oh, I'm giving it away. Okay, so the answer was the happy ending one. He did choose and listen to his authentic self. He stood up to the bully mafia guy, kicked him out, kind of thing, and scared him off. He managed with his full confidence that he wants out of this thing, and he scared him off. He managed to scare him off, um, and I guess the assumption is they'll leave him alone now or something. The bully mafia boss will leave him alone. We don't know that part, but they just want to end it on that positive note where from now on, he's going to do the right thing, what's good for him. He's going to get a job, he's going to find a girl, settle down, play the song, uh, what's his name? Cat Stevens, father and son, find a girl, settle down. But what I don't personally like too much about the episode, it was very dramatic, very convincing, very good actor and all this. Um, he played like a nervous, nail biting, shivering, highly anxious. The episode's called Nervous Man. So he's very nervous all the time, shaking and quivering, biting his nails and all this, slouched over, really kind of uh, uh, really terrified mouse like that. And then in the mirror, you saw his full beingness, confidence, and a real difference like that. So, so after the spinning mirror trick, he became his authentic self, and then in the mirror was the shivering nervous man in the mirror. So his inner child's in the mirror, and his authentic self's going to run the show, and his frightened self will be in the mirror. So the frightened self can take a back seat, so to speak, be in the unconscious, but his the he's going to build on the positive memories of whatever positive memories he developed, even if those memories were only in the uterus. He's going to build on those positive memories and stay and build on those positive memories. And those positive memories will guide the person and call the shots. And all that false stuff that he was doing, it can take a back seat and forget about it. But at the same time, they did come from a wounded child in him. So it is, they're both a part of him. Put it that way. What I, what the, my only little question about this episode was, they really missed it. They really missed the dialogue of how it was all by persuasion. It was just suggestion. Come on, you can find a girl, settle down. You don't got to do this weaselly thing. You don't got to work for the mafia. It's gonna be a miserable life for you. It's gonna get worse and worse for you. Things are already worse for you. Can't you see it's getting worse and worse for you? Don't you want to do it my way here? Don't you want to try something better and healthy? Um, so really, that kind of pep talk is not going to work for anybody. But then I thought, on the other hand, it's just meant to be an image that we do finally become true to ourselves. So we do want to be true to ourselves like that, and we give up the false stuff. We give up the nonsense. We give up the false beliefs, and that's the death of his false self and the birth of new life. So when he came back, okay, after the revolving, spinning mirror trick, he became himself like that. But there was no kind of insight from himself to himself about why he is the way he is. He just said, "Don't can't you see? Can't you see?" Just like being logical. That's usually not enough for a person to change, right? Or it's the basic idea that when people hit rock bottom, they said, "Enough of this. Why am I pleasing my mother? Why am I in rebellion against my mother? Why am I still trying to save my mother? Why am I afraid to be myself? Oh, I gotta please the mother still. I gotta tell the mother in my mind that I'm loyal to her. Dysfunction is loyal to the mother. That guy, him being like that, that's him being loyal to the mother. He said, enough of that. I'll be loyal to myself. So he emancipated himself from mental slavery. Bob played Bob Marley. Let me move the fan here. One second. Please. Um, and a good if you watch that episode, there's a follow up. Um, there's an expanded sort of follow up of that essay of that episode called Shatterday. Shatterday. Um, SH like shatter like SH. Shatterday. It's a play on the word Saturday because the story was about the healing journey in 7 parts, and these 7 parts are named after the days of the week. So you got Someday, Moan Day, Doomsday, Wound Day, Thorn Day, Free Day, Shatterday. The Shatterday means that false self dissolves away, shatters away, or goes away. Kind of like how in the first episode, the nervous man in a $4 room, kind of like how his false self dissolved away into the mirror, like disappeared. It's not going to bother you anymore. Yeah, yeah. So its influence on you shatters away. Yeah, its influence on you is going to shatter away. It's not going to call the shots, run the show. So in the Saturday episode, they showed it that there's a condo, okay, and then um, the false self stepped out, and the authentic self stepped in. Okay, the condo's the body. So in the body, do you want to have your authentic self in the running the show, or do you want the false self running the show and the authentic self out? So we see the conclusion where the authentic self came in and the false self went out. Now the false self tried to get back in. The false self tried to kick out and boot out the authentic self. The authentic self, no, Mr. Weasel, we did it your way. You're a miserable creature, like the hotel episode. And this is the natural state. This is embodiment. This is the soul, like that. Our authentic self, our true self, our real self. So we're gonna now. This is gonna call the shots. And if you can hold that, maintain that, keep that, then on that's free day, free Friday, free day. They show you free day like that, and then on Saturday, the next day, because you maintained it, then the false self dissolved away, and we see the false self just dispersing away into the air, kind of thing, like shattered away, meaning like dissolved away, like broken glass shatters away, like that. So they don't show you the first 6 steps. They don't show you in that episode the lead up to it. Someday, and you got to face the someday beliefs that someday, if you tell the world what your mother did to you, you'll get love in the past. Nonsense. Someday, if you eat a pint of ice cream or a bottle of wine, it's going to be mother's sweetness and spirit in the past. Nonsense. Okay, someday, if you repeat the disappointment by doing something that recreates the disappointment, you're going to change the past. Not someday nonsense. You're going to choose parent copies. Okay, you're going to choose people to remind you of the parent and try to get a better outcome with your parent in the past. Nonsense. That's called transfer stuff. You got to face all that stuff. When you give up that stuff, then the moan comes in. The moan day. Now you're into moan day. There's a real moan about this. So now you're getting somewhere. Then you got to face the Tuesday. Now you got to go deeper and identify this core um, false belief that we're guilty. It's a job, and you got to update this thing. It's no baby's responsibility to save their mother. They can't, and it's not their job to do so. So you got to face this dues kind of thing, this unconscious guilt, unconscious shame, that kind of thing. So you got to update that kind of thing. And then finally, you do it. Um, if you do that, you're gonna get into the deeper waters of knowing that you didn't get mother's love. Now you're in wound day. Now wounds day, that's the longer one. That's riding the broccoli boat and inside out too. Okay, free association, dream interpretation. You got to do the wounds day. So you got to say what comes to mind, find a story, piece together the story. Try to now know what you couldn't back then. Just piece it together. What happened? What's going on here? Second journey of midlife, hero's journey of midlife. That's the wounds day. You're riding the boat. Now, while you're riding the boat, now you don't see Baba Yaga appear in that episode, but Baba Yaga appears um, in the fairy tale Maiden King, and she wants to know, okay, so you want to heal, do you? Well, if you're gonna heal, you gotta know that your mother's not a goddess or a demon. Your mother's a human being. So can you see the third side of the coin? Can you get beyond oppositional thinking, adversarial thinking, black or white thinking, either or thinking, jungle slogan thinking, survival jungle slogan? Can you show that it's not like this either or stuff, my greedy, your greed stuff? It's not like that. Can you show some kind of willingness to find the third side of the coin, the golden mean, the middle way? Can you show some appreciation that it's both and, like a diamond with various facets? It's both and, it's inclusive, it's not split off like that. Because if you maintain the split off like that, you can't see your mother as a human. You can't understand her if you split it off like that. If you can understand her and get the story, you'll see her as a human. That leads to the both sides. Your mother would have loved you if she could have. She couldn't because she was impaired. Despite the fact that she was impaired, she still tried her best. She's a human being with pain, just a person, a human being with pain who did her best. But the truth is, she didn't love you, but she tried. Can you get some kind of ambivalence that she was crying for love and she was impaired and she was confused, but she tried her best, kind of thing? Can you get some kind of broader um, third side of the coin? So Baba Yaga wants to test you if you can think in both and terms, both and terms. Bly calls it vertical thinking. Um, Robert A. Johnson calls it three-dimensional thinking. When I say Robert A. Johnson, I mean the author of those little books, he, she, we, etc. Okay, and then the second Baba Yaga, we don't see it, but the second Baba Yaga, there's three of them. The second Baba Yaga says, can you divide the seeds? Can you discern what's a real feeling versus a sensation? Can you discern feelings from the feeling self, the embodied self? And can you discern sensations from the limbic system area? Now, we refer to them, generally speaking, as affects, but under the umbrella term of affects, you got the feelings of the primary feelings, and you got the visceral sensations of the stress response, anxiety, fear, anger, shame, that kind of. Okay. Now, in that second camp, okay, you got defensive beliefs around it, sham beliefs, neurotic pride, hubris pride, narcissistic pride, all the sensations in that area. Can you discern that stuff called quote unquote sham feelings, okay, versus real feelings? Can you discern the two? So you got a pile of seeds, got to divide them into two piles like that. So you need that kind of mindfulness kind of practice like that. Then you got to get the third Baba Yaga. Can you make the unconscious conscious? Can you embrace the spirit of the duck? So we all know the duck walks on the land, swims in the water, flies in the air. So we got to live in these different worlds. Okay? So when we bring up something from the unconscious, bring it up to the air. Okay? So like a fisher person brings fish up from the water, you want to eat the fish. The fish is a symbol for something about you that you don't know, unconscious, under the water, dark, under the water. Okay? You want to bring it up and accept it, like the lady eats the rampions. I mean the Rapunzel, radish, ramp. In German, these rampions or radishes, they're called Rapunzels in German. Yes, she's named Rapunzel, but it's named after the radish. And Rapunzel, the woman will eat the Rapunzels because it's part of herself. She's reclaiming herself. She lost herself. So Rapunzel lost little Rapunzels, radishes. Yeah, okay. So Rapunzel lost little bits about herself. They were buried in the witch's garden over the fence. Got to hop over the fence, bring it back. Need a lantern to see what's going on. Bring it up, reclaim it, and reclaim because it's yours. It's called Rapunzel. It's even your name, Rapunzel. The Rapunzel eats the Rapunzels because the Rapunzels are part of her. The lost parts of her, you got to get it back and reclaim it. So when Miss Rapunzel eats the radish Rapunzels, she's reclaiming herself, kind of like that. So you got to embedded in this. It's the study of defense mechanisms. So you got to study defense mechanisms. Okay, identification with the aggressor, just mentioned. Projective identification. Okay, seeing what you want to see to replay the past. Because of the compulsion to repeat, you're going to transfer the past to the present. The present is called the presenting past. You transfer the past to the present and recreate and see in the present the past hoping for better outcome. So you got to look at these kind of defensive things, because one way not to remember is to repeat. But at the same time, when you repeat, you're trying to remember. Okay, so you got to study defense, issue of symbiosis, okay, developmental theory, the needs of the baby, um, defense mechanisms of things we do to get away from the pain. For example, that one about symbiosis, about loss. Like one, yeah, I read this morning. I read this morning. Like the guy, was it the girl or the guy? I forgot. One of them had a loss, like a divorce. It was about divorce, right? But they couldn't admit the loss. They couldn't admit the loss. I forgot who it was, but so from then on, um, they could never link body and feelings. So there was a split like that. So they became a Don Juan, a playboy, playgirl. They couldn't bring it together. When you mourn the loss, then you can bring it together. If you don't mourn the loss, it's always split. Because the feeling is the lost person, right? Your love is to the lost person, but you're still clinging to it. So you cling to it, and to distract yourself from the pain of losing a person, you can engage in pseudo intimacy, like promiscuity kind of thing. That just distracts you and maintains your love connection within to the person, while your physical is to somebody else. It's always hard to get this bird on the camera. Cute little guy, eh? He's got the blue beak. They got a stray cat. They got two stray cats here, a couple of birds. They got some peacocks and rabbits for the kids on the other side. Great little venue, yeah. Yeah, you can see it. You can see them preparing, eh? All the food tables. Massive. That's going to be a massive buffet, right? Wow. Oh my goodness. Are all those food tables? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's got to be a wedding, eh? So it's, yeah, love is that second sight, right? The first sight, that's your projection of unresolved uh, hopes from the past, unresolved business, unfinished business, unresolved issues. You transfer that to the present. You don't see the person in the present. But if that person reminds you of the past, that's called transfer stuff. You don't even see them. When you withdraw the projections, then you begin. Then you see them at second sight, and you get to know them and accept them. Then at the second sight, then love begins. Love begins at second sight. We have that quote. We have that quote here in one. It's at 29:41 about the second sight. Do we have it here? If we know love is blind, why do we believe in love at first sight? Actually, I've noticed that the bird's getting a little closer to me. Before he was very far away. Just a little joke there, right? So we often say love is blind and all that. Oh, okay, okay. But you believe in love at first sight, knowing that love is blind. But okay, next one. We believe in love at first sight when actually most relationships begin as love at second sight. Love begins at second sight. The first sight is your hopes and for the past, that you're going to finally get your needs that were unmet in the past. It's not going to work. You're disappointed. Now, can you get to know them for who they are in the present? Okay, now, can you be person to person of the present, not them as a mirage of the past? Where were we just now? Uh, what was the point? Oh yeah, Saturday. Oh yeah, the Saturday story, Twilight Zone, Saturday. So someday, Monday, Tuesday, Wound Day. So again, the Wound Day, that's the main one. The wound, free association, dream interpretation. You got to upgrade from either or to both and. Divide the seeds, study defense mechanisms. That's the trickster energy infused into the trickster energy. The rabbit, the trickster energy is the duck energy, unconscious, conscious. Embedded in all this is getting your parents a story, see them as people. That's resolving oppositional thinking. Then spontaneously, by nature, the firebird may appear. You hop in the back of the firebird, you ride the firebird. Okay, that's called the phoenix rises. And you hop on the phoenix, you ride the firebird. That's called emotional knowing. Now your flattened feelings, it becomes alive again, vibrant colors, fiery, alive like that. So you're gonna feel alive now. Whereas, and then the pin pops out. Oh yeah. So with trauma, the pin goes in the collar. You feel flat affect. And when the firebird flies up, you feel again. The pin pops out, and now you got your beingness. You feel and you hum. You're no longer a velveteen rabbit. You're the real rabbit. I mean, yeah, okay. So that's so after the part of the wounds day, that's the thorn day. When you get to that point with the thorn, it's kind of like you lift the thorn. Nature lifts the thorn. Then free day, you're going to be free with the firebird. So wound day, all that work is on wounds day. At some point, the pin, I mean the thorn. Okay, the image here is the French animated film Kirikou and the Sorceress. You see little Kirikou pull up the thorn. That doesn't, we don't consciously do that. Nature does that. Something within does that. So something within us pulls the God, okay, the nature, the healing forces of the nature, the natural innate nature forces, okay, spiritual forces, innate forces, this innate drive for healing, this innate drive for healing, okay, this natural innate invisible drive for healing. It pulls the pin. That's thorn day. The thorn is pulled. Now you're free. The firebird fly. That's free day. Your free day. Now in Saturday we see the free day. We start from there on the free day, and then we see from Friday to Saturday because when you get your feelings back, it's an awkward feeling. It's a strange feeling. Can you accept it? Can you maintain it, or are you going to freak out and send it away and let the false self come back? Maybe you didn't face it. Um, maybe you didn't fully. Maybe you BS'd yourself. You momentarily got it, but you BS'd yourself and went away again. So maybe you tricked yourself. Or the test is when you get your feelings back. We don't remember this stuff. Can you hold on to it? It's maybe overwhelming. Can you stay with it? That's the theory. Can you accept your authentic feelings? Can you accept your beingness? Can you accept that you're going to be yourself? Okay. In Gabe's story, he said that. In Gabe's story, he faced the traumatic script. Look, traumatic script, you're like a puppet master. I want to break the strings and be myself. And the puppet master said, "Yeah, well, this is the script here. You were traumatized. That's your neurocircuitry. You don't know anything other than this. I don't care. I'll make mistakes. I'll learn. I'll grow. I want to be free like this. I want to emancipate myself from mental slavery." Play Bob Marley. Copyrighted song. I can't play it. I'd love to play that line from Bob Marley, but I tried it. It's always copyrighted. Emancipate yourself. So Gabe's story is another good image in this point. Okay, so now the thorn is pulled. You get your beingness back. Now, when you get your beingness back, Um, can you sustain it for a while that it's going to be set in and you're going to accept it? You're going to accept the new you, the authentic you. It's not a new you. It's the authentic you that you had, but you lost and found, refined. You get it back. Lost and found. You had it, you lost it, lost and found. You want to get it back. It's not new. It's a refining. Every finding is a refining. They said. So you want to refine your lost self, or your authentic self. Then if you accept that, then the false self, the lingering false self, those old tricks, the neurotic tricks, the BS, all that's rationalizations and excuses and greed and jungle slogans, all the silly, infantile pettiness, that all dissolves away. So the weasel in that show dissolved away, right? And you see him dispersing away in the air like that. They really the episode wanted to make it clear it was never real. It was always a delusion. It was always a dream. Well, that's all we have when we're traumatized. The baby's in a swoon in a dream like that with these false ideas, and it's not making sense. Authentic self says, I want to make sense. Kristen Wilson says, if you're not in your body, you're not making sense literally. And it's disembodied discourse that causes all these problems. Okay, so like those episodes. The weasel guy in Saturday and the petty thug in episode entitled Nervous Man in the $4 Room. Okay, so those false things disappeared away or don't affect you anymore. They don't call the shots anymore. Ghost laid to rest. Your defensive self shatters away like that. So we see that in Saturday, right? So those are two good episodes. I would say maybe start off with uh, that for the short one, uh, Nervous Man in a $4 Room, and then follow that up with the Saturday. Now the Saturday one, the acting was kind of pitiful. I'm sorry to say, I thought the acting was highly unconvincing. Um, it might have been cynical, saying, "Well, don't be a failed narcissist, be a successful narcissist." It might show that, but it's not meant to be like that. The original scriptwriter didn't mean it like that, but when they chose that actor, it kind of comes across like that. So you're getting a subliminal false message. You're getting a false subliminal message. If you can put that aside um, um, and imagine a more authentic thing, it's funny. I would say the hotel one, the original Rod Serling one, did a better job of showing you that. Another a poor choice of actors is that Forbidden Planet one. I think one of the reasons that Forbidden Planet classic science, the first major science fiction major production was called Forbidden Planet in 1956. Excellent, incredible show, major film called Forbidden Planet 1956. I'm gonna my hunch is that the choice of the actor is childish. He shouts violently all the time over little things. This impulsive little infantile, but he's a handsome looking guy, so they put him in for the appearance. Um, but his lines are so unbelievable. Oh, yeah, I'm in charge of the best of the best. Yeah, I'm the best of the best of this kind of. You got to be kidding me. Um, he was. They wanted to promote him as an actor. It was some kind of strategy to promote this fellow or something, because they think he looks handsome. Uh, I think that tanked that choice personally. But otherwise, the script, it's a minimalist script. But boy, oh boy, they cover a lot of topics with those few lines. And it's a slow kind of film. It's a very laid back, very slow kind of movie. But it's worth it because the script is very good, very minimalist, but they point to important points. It's a metaphor for psychoanalysis. It's a metaphor for psychology. Um, actually, I did talk about the Forbidden Planet um, in the last video, part two. Should we jump into that now, or are we doing here? What? Let me check the time. I feel. What time is it? 4:10. So we've got about an hour and a bit, right? Still there. Oh, maybe it's a wedding for those people there. Maybe that's what it is. Love um, begins at second sight, not first sight. So should we update the Forbidden Planet one? So the Forbidden Planet's a metaphor that we have an unconscious. The whole purpose of the film is to let the viewer know that there is such a thing as an unconscious. That's it. Now, I first thought maybe they blocked the film, they didn't promote it or whatever, because they don't want people to know that. Then I thought, well, maybe I'm exaggerating here. Maybe it was just boring with the actor. He was boring. Put it that way. This actor, the captain guy, Snoozeville, it was just this cardboard, Ken doll kind of shallow. Um, I don't know how to put it. What carried the film were the special effects. I think the Disney people did all the special effects or something. And then Mr. Morpheus, the other character, there's the other guy, Morpheus. Not Morpheus, Morbius. Morbius, named after Morpheus, because um, Morpheus in Greek mythology also has the function of bringing your dreams up to you. So I didn't know this, but I thought it was Hermes usually. Like when you wake up in the morning, you get a dream sequence. It's kind of like Hermes delivering a message to you. Here's a letter from the gods. You're unconscious, get all the energy, like Poseidon, powerful metaphor like a god's. So John A. Sanford says, if Poseidon gives you a letter, if one of these mythological gods gives you a letter, don't you want to read it? So usually Hermes is the messenger boy or whatever. I didn't know that Morpheus can also do that messaging quality. So they named him Morbius. And there's a play on that because on the human realm, there was something morbid about him. Morbius, morbid. So let's see. So the image was you got a guy named Morbius. Okay. So the message is to let you know that there is such a thing as an unconscious. So how do you show that? How do you show that to people? Okay, let's imagine a planet, and it's got all these. It's a very powerful planet. It's got ancient, ancient alien technology in there. Um, 8,000 floors of um, all the most advanced, beyond a million years beyond human knowledge, a million years beyond human knowledge. All this advanced technology, something like that. So here you have this planet with all this extremely sophisticated. Uh, the planet's made up mostly of machines and all this. It's self-sustaining. It's self-running. It's been going on like that automatically for 200,000 years, i.e., the birth of Homo sapien. So the birth of Homo sapien, we became conscious, we got an unconscious. When we developed the conscious, that means we got an unconscious 200,000 years ago. That planet is 200,000 years old, they said. Okay, so now you got Mr. Morbius. Um, well, one there's a lot of overlapping condensation going on, like several messages at one time. One of the messages you got Morbius. Okay, this scientist guy is connected, uh, has an affinity. They said a special connection to this planet. Doesn't know what it is, but he feels at home there. And the others didn't. The others didn't, so they were lost. Meaning, the reason the others were lost because they were not in touch with their unconscious, so they're kind of lost. You don't see them, so they're lost. They mean it like that. It's all metaphor. The only member of that crew, the original crew, was Morbius, who felt some connection to the planet. It's kind of like Odysseus when he goes to the island there, and Circe turns all the men into pigs, right? Because they have no self-awareness, but he's got self-awareness. So, okay, so you got Morbius. So you got Morbius on this planet. The planet's a metaphor for his unconscious, and he's got a link there. The unconscious links with him. He's got a link there like that. And again, all the other members of that original party um, didn't care about the planet. Who cares about it? So they're kind of out of the picture like that. Just metaphor. Okay. So, okay, the metaphor is those other characters who didn't care about the planet, their unconscious gobbled them up. Like their unconscious took over them, and they weren't around anymore. Metaphorically speaking, they're sleepwalking through life, going through the motions in life, just going through the motions in life. That's all it means. Okay, so let's go back. So you got Morbius on the planet, and he's in the process of trying to figure out this relationship. He's very curious about it. He's trying to study the language and the technology of this planet. So he spent 20 years there again with the 20 years. That's the midlife audit, the midlife examination period. In the Twilight Zone, they also the community guy, also had a 20-year thing. He's got a 20-year thing. Yeah, 20 years is the common. Like in the Odyssey, it was 20 years. So the midlife audit usually from 40 to 60 or some 20-year period in towards the latter half of your life. It could be 60 to 80, okay, whatever, 70 to 90 or whatever. The stereotype is 40 to 60 or like 50 to 70 or whatever. 45 to 65. It could be 35 to 55, whatever it is. The general statistical average is people at midlife are trying to figure out how do we get back our beingness? How do we get back our authentic self? How do we get back our inner home, Ithaca, our embodiment? How do we get Snow White back? How do we get Rapunzel back? How do we get Echo back? She's frozen. Echo is a statue. How do we get her back into our beingness? How do we get Joy Satis back to the console? How do we get this core back to Persephone in the body? How do we get our beingness back? How do we feel alive again? We don't want to feel like the Velveteen Rabbit our whole lives. Okay, the Velveteen Rabbit. Now, what does it mean to feel real and alive? Oh, oh, it's blocked. I'll show it to you next time. They got a stone rabbit here, and they've got besides some real rabbits. So I had a little dialogue between the stone rabbit and the real rabbits. The stone rabbit says to the real rabbits, "Hey guys, please tell me what's it like being alive and real like that? I'm a stone here. Talk to me." Oops, that was lighting. Lighting's beating on me here. Okay, where are we here? So Morbius is on the planet. Okay, Morbius is on the planet. Now, when something bothers him, or when something offends him, okay, he might have what's called narcissistic rage. Okay, when someone um, when someone confronts your defense mechanisms, when someone points out that you're lying, or when someone calls you out on your BS, or your duplicity, or your flim-flammery, or your self-justifications. Um, if that's your false self, and someone exposes that, it can bring up a lot of rage inside, called narcissistic injury, narcissistic rage, because you have the false self because your true self is missing. So the image of your unknown anger around the narcissistic injury, quote unquote, was materialized. So we saw what they called an id monster, this vague, blurry. I think it's the Disney people, right? It looked like the Tasmanian devil or something. The Tasmanian devil, right? I think they borrowed the Tasmanian devil to play the id monster. I think, I'm not sure. I didn't get a close look at it. So we see the Tasmanian devil, okay, meaning Morbius is gonna shout at somebody or be angry at somebody or go away, or say some rude thing, be verbally angry at somebody. That's the id monster, right? So he didn't know. He didn't know that he'd be so angry that somebody would call him out on his self-importance or something. Now his self-importance is defense against mourning, so he didn't mourn himself, right? So he didn't. He wants to find himself, but he's in that process of the midlife kind of place, the 20-year thing. Okay. So in the film, the line is, yeah, in the actual film, um, the line in there. There's a line in there which says, let's see, hold on a second. Hang on. Oh boy, hang on. We haven't hit Three Faces of Eve. Carol Burnett. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So the line in the film is, I quote, "Mr. Morbius, when you thought that we, the visitors, so the Morbius was first, and then 20 years later the other guys came, so they were the visitors. Mr. Morbius, when you thought that we were threatening your little ego maniac empire, your narcissistic pride, your subconscious, your unconscious sent its quote id monster out again." So he didn't know this. He didn't know that that the id monsters are expressions of his unknown anger, unknown rage, unknown pain around his losses. He didn't know that his anger, his fear, his rage. So he, when he felt threatened by the visitors, the id monster was going after them, kind of thing. Just a metaphor that if 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 a person if a person's narcissistic pride is questioned, they might shout at you. The image is the Tasmanian devil jumps at like that. Oh, Tasmanian devil. Oh, okay, okay, Tasmanian devil. The uncon. Okay, yeah, maybe that's where it's coming from. And the second line is from the film. Um, the question came up. What's all this talk about the id monster? What do you mean the id monster? What's the id? And Morbius knows the phrase id. Oh, id. Oh, well, that's an old term. Long ago, Mr. Freud, like, Yeah, I'm adding here. It's an obsolete term. I'm afraid once used to describe the elementary basis of the subconscious mind. That's in the film, right? An elementary basis of the unconscious or subconscious mind. The energy in the unconscious mind is called the energy, your force, your desires, your unmet needs, your anger around it, your needs, and how you felt around your needs not being met. All that energy in that area is called the id. Okay? It's not a monster. It's just you're angry because your needs weren't met. The baby's enraged when the mother hurts him. So that anger of his, it's not a monster. It's just his rage. But you create a picture of a Tasmanian devil, and you call it a derivative of the id, yeah, a picture of the id, a picture of the baby's rage. Oh, that's it. Monsters from the id, an id monster. So it's just trying to give you the metaphor of basics, psychology 101 kind of thing. Okay, the monster lingers but is re envisioned as invisible and a product not of outside forces but of man's own psyche, a monster from the id. So in the film, the monster is not some external thing. It's a picture of something within. It's a picture of something within. Your pain and anger of the trauma, you create a picture of it. That's from within. So they mean the enemy within, the beast within, the monster within. They mean it like that. Don't concretize it and think it's like an actual outer thing that you're making up. No, it's from within. The invisible monster is revealed to be a projection of Morbius's enraged id, now rendered possible by the mind expanding machinery left behind by the Krell civilization. Okay, so what made it possible for this invisible Tasmanian devil to run around is that the the, the ancient civilization that built the machine there, called the Krell from a billion or whatever from long ago, these advanced people a million years ahead of us just made some made up thing. This machine has the ability to make material your thoughts. So if he had the thought of he's enraged, that it'd be materialized into the Tasmanian devil attacking the guys. Okay, so this ancient, super advanced machinery has the capacity to make material the thing you think. Okay, so he didn't know. He didn't know he was so enraged at the visitors. He didn't know. He's kind of innocent about it, but it's in his unconscious. The unconscious, the machinery picked it up. Oh, our friend Mr. Morbius is enraged at the visitors. He wants to get them out of there. He wants to attack them. Okay, we'll send the Tasmanian devils to attack him like that. That's all it means, right? Yeah, I got to present this more smoothly because I don't think anybody's been able to offer this basic message. Can you believe it? Where are we here? It turns out that the installation was designed, yeah, the machinery, the planet machinery that the ancient civilization built. It turns out that the installation was designed to materialize any object that could be imagined. Its inventors had foolishly overlooked that the equipment would materialize what was in their unconscious minds. What a clever film. What a great film. So there's an overlap blending here. So, number one, children sometimes have fantasies about things and they think it's real, right? So the idea that you would wish for something, it would appear, yeah, that's like a childlike fantasy. But wait a minute, if you've got an unconscious and you've got unconscious wishes, that might be materialized as well. See, so the child might consciously wish for a new toy, but unconsciously would hate it if the brother were to touch it, so then there'd be the Tasmanian devil jumping on the brother or something. So the machinery was made from the point of view of only your conscious wishes. It ignored your unconscious wishes. So it means we have unconscious wishes. If your conscious wishes can be sci-fi materialized, well, to be consistent, your unconscious wishes would be materialized, and that's what we see by the monsters of the id, the Tasmanian devil image, this invisible. We don't even see. We see the footprints. We see the footprints, and we get a glimpse of his outline at one point. Monsters from the id are a ploy popular in films of all genres during the 50s when Freudian psychology arrived on the motion picture scene. So I didn't know this, but there are other films that also do this. I don't have a list of the other films. They didn't give it, but apparently there are some other films, not only science fiction, but of other genres that would say, well, some mysterious presence. Well, that's like in the Forbidden Planet. It's something to show personification of how you really feel in your unconscious. That there is an unconscious. Humanity's narcissistic insult that there is such a thing as an unconscious. So the message was that these Krell people from a million years ago, they ignored that, and they were goners because of that. So the message of the film was, you have an unconscious. Make peace with it. Take the image of the little boy playing the flute, riding on the water buffalo. Have a communication where you have the buffalo, not the buffalo has you, and you have a communication, the flute. So there's some kind of flow back and forth, like the mirror image and mentioned before, the mirror, yin yang, just a continuous cycling of making the unconscious conscious, like the duck, unconscious conscious, okay, the rampions, etc. So that's the same kind of message. Got to make the unconscious conscious. If we don't care about the unconscious, oh, get over, forget it, bury it, bury it, bury it. It's all genetics, biology. Oh, get over it. That obnoxious song called "Get Over It." Get over it. Got to. Oh, your inner child. Oh, I want to beat. I want to beat your. He said, I want to kick your inner child. What a violent, abusive thing. That's the harm involved. That song is very. That should be like exposed. That song. That's the problem. That song is the problem. We kind of know what he means, but it comes across more in a negative way. But so no, you have trauma. It does exist. You can't kick your trauma. Like if somebody could go back in a time machine and see themselves as a baby crying, and you want to kick the baby, shut up. Seriously, would you do that to yourself? Most people, no. Most people would hold the baby, hold them and comfort them, and help them out because it's you. But that song says no, kick it. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So that's a sign of that we're really a homotraumacus. We're really homotraumacus if somebody can create a line like that and sing a song like that and make $1 million, make him and be on stage like that. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of them. Yeah, we're familiar with a few of their songs, but other than that, I'm not a fan. Is that it for the? Oh, okay, hold on. Oh yeah, okay. And if you want to be a little that message about the importance. Another message. Sarah Martin makes the point here. Uh, the one message of the film is that if a man has too much power in the hands of a single man, it's going to lead to problems. Since Morbius is a civilized gentleman, his derangement, Morbius becoming morbid. Oh, there it is. There's the morbid side of Morbius. He's depressed. We don't know that. Is potentially that of any man faced with the same Shelleyan or Frankensteinian Shelleyan temptation to explore forbidden knowledge. So everyone's got blind spots. Everyone's got an unconscious. Okay, I don't have this quote here, but somebody, I didn't include it, but somebody said, I don't buy this because Morbius was understanding that, he had a daughter, sorry. He had a daughter on there. It was him and the daughter. The daughter became of age. He said, I got to send my daughter to Earth for her development, for her natural human development. She needs to mingle with her own type and get married and all that. So he's planning to help her like that. So he didn't want to hurt her or anything like that. He was a good father, generally speaking. But they want to give the message that if she does leave him and she's code for mother for him, then he'd be a goner with no mother. So he died when she married the visitor, when she loved the visitor. So he lost the connection to the mother. So they wanted to make it like that. Now, the idea that they're calling it Forbidden Planet, of course it's forbidden. The father's not going to turn the daughter into his uh, uh, wife like that. It's not. That's why it's forbidden like that. And he knows it's forbidden. He doesn't want to do it, didn't think it, didn't plan it. He's a good father like that. But they want to say that maybe deep, deep, deep down. But so what? He's not going to act on it. But he, nevertheless, he's alone for 20 years. He raised his daughter for 20 years. Um, maybe he wishes his daughter could be another woman, or I don't know. Maybe those are forbidden kind of thoughts, right? Forbidden planet. Anyways, they wanted to make the point that if um, he'd be a goner, that's a taboo, right? He'd be a goner like that. But the real message is separation anxiety. Separation anxiety. If he used his daughter as his mother and the mother left him, he's a goner. He died, right? So he died in the end because his mother left him. He was the baby with no mother. In the unconscious, things can represent other things. Because in the story, him and his wife survived, and then they had a baby, but then the mother died. So he died when his mother, just like the mother died, he died when the daughter left. So it's the famous love triangle, right? It's the famous issue. When a child is one with the mother, at some point they got to leave the mother and connect with the father. That's the eternal triangle issue, right? Now, there's a follow up to Forbidden Planet in the Star Trek series. The Star Trek did a follow up to that called Requiem for Methuselah, season 3, episode 19. I mean, the original one with Spock and all that. Spock was the hero in that episode. Spock was in good form in that episode. So in that episode, they did a similar kind of thing. For a planet, a guy alone with a young lady like that. Now they made it more clear about that. The the guy that whatever his name was, let's just call him Morbius 2. Star Trek's Morbius, was that his name? Methuselah? Yeah, that must have been his name. Methuselah. Okay, so in another up kind of update, a little bit of an update to Forbidden Planet is the Star Trek episode 10 years later, 1966. season 3, episode 19, called Requiem for Methuselah. So in that version, they kind of spelled it out a little bit, I think. So in that version, you got the guy there, the guy who's lived, the guy who's been on there for what, 6,000 years or 60,000 years. So he lives forever. Just a metaphor of all men, kind of thing. The issue of all men. So he represented the ongoing pattern, right? Like a pattern. He was a symbol of a pattern, where every man wishes he could have a perfect mother so he can be himself. So this guy was some kind of genius and all this, like Morbius, and he tried to create the perfect woman, right? The problem was, she the final missing piece was she wasn't human. It was it was a robot or something. So he created a perfect robot or something, hoping to somehow let it become human, and it would love him. So he can programmed her to be a perfect wife, a perfect woman, a perfect mother, perfect this, perfect this. He did all this kind of perfect thing. The problem was she doesn't voluntarily love, like, right? So he was looking for mother. He was looking for mother. Okay, then the Star Trek people came, and the Kirk guy, right? He fell in love with the robot, and he wanted mother. But the guy who invented the robot wants the robot mother. Kirk says, "No, she's mine. I love her." So the robot's got to decide here. Hmm, who is it going to be? She's got to choose, right? The one who made her and trained her and did everything for her and sacrificed like this, or this new guy here who just magically appeared on the scene. So she started to get conflicted feelings. Okay, code for metaphor for, she doesn't, no person wants to go back to fusion, and if you don't get mother's love, you can't go forward to separate from the mother. So there's the issue of, if the child doesn't get enough love to develop, then he can't develop. So she couldn't go with Mr. Kirk there, right? But she doesn't want to go back, uh, to regress back to the, it's past that developmental phase. So she can't go back. She didn't get enough to go forward, so the robot went kaput. The robot crashed and died or whatever, right? So that's a symbol that there's an emotional death, feminine. She was the feminine, right? The feeling principle. So she, Reina was her name, right? So that'd be like the feminine principle. The feelings in us die when we don't get mother's love, and we can't go forward. She couldn't go forward, and she can't go back because there was no love like that. So Reina went kaput, and the two guys there are shaking their heads. Geez. And Spock made the comment. Spock made a good comment. The concluding comment was, geez. Um, Kirk said, "Yeah, we were real fools. Him and I, we made a real show of ourselves. We were like foolish little children, fighting over a robot woman or something. Geez." And Spock said, "Well, considering he's 6,000 years old, and you're here in the future from the future, you guys represent the eternal love triangle." The eternal love triangle. The eternal love triangle. The baby's first love triangle is the baby and the mother are one. Can that child properly leave her to connect to the father? A triangle, baby, parents, two, three people. There's a there's the triangle issue. The first prototype of the trauma of the love triangle. The baby needs enough love to separate from the mother to connect with the father and go on with their development. If the child doesn't get that oneness of the mother, they can't go forward, so they crash inside, like Raina crashed in the episode. the eternal love triangle. Okay? Um, mother, the issue is mothers, when they were little babies themselves, they didn't get their needs met. When they grow up, they repeat the intergenerational trauma onto their children because they don't remember that's what happened to them. So we recreate because we don't remember. If we can remember, we stop repeating. That's the whole issue. Once again, very good episode. Very good episode. Yeah. Um, Spock was great. He was in top form. Spock. Yeah. He was sort of the star, the unspoken star of the show was Spock. He was the reasonable guy at the back of it all, playing the piano and everything. I would say watch those two. The Forbidden Planet and the update, Star Trek. This one here, season 3, episode 19, Requiem for Methuselah. So in the Forbidden Planet, when the Adam guy, Adam and Eve, forget that. When the Adam guy came, that cheesy actor, that cheesy, handsome looking actor, when she took off with him, he went kaput. So he couldn't turn his daughter into his mother, obviously. But now the mother's missing, so he went kaput, right? But yeah, okay. Quite a few reviewers were unsettled by a monster from so Freudian a source, evidently preferring a more substantial and traditional external monster. As a result of this reception, the film studio scrapped whatever intellectual appeal its advertising was reaching for and concentrated instead on Robbie the robot carrying the daughter in his arms. Um, Forbidden Planet drew sizable audiences, but perhaps not the audiences it deserved. Well, that's for sure. I, I have two theories. I have two theories. One is teaching about psychoanalysis. If you had a whole generation of people watching that film, they enter into reading psychoanalysis. If that's a massive message that there is such a thing as an unconscious, you'd have the whole baby boom generation getting into self awareness. They crushed it, kind of like the same with the comic. In same time, 1955, a comic came out called Psychoanalysis. They crushed it. This film, teaching psychoanalysis, they crushed it, I think. Now it's some minor little, mini little, considered cult classic film or something. So very few people appreciate it. It's too minuscule. So instead of sticking with the message, instead of sticking with the intellectual appeal, they made some silly poster about Morbius's helper robot, like R2D2, like holding his daughter, just some simple little thing. So they changed their whole marketing approach, their whole sales approach, saying, "Don't take this serious, just some silly little B movie or something." Forbidden Planet contradicts the idea of the monster as some kind of feared outsider. Oh, hi. How do you? Yeah, there's another point. How do you plunder the planet and pillage the planet if you don't manufacture these? See, you have an unconscious fantasies of the boogeyman. You want to? Oh, there it is over there. You got to make it up. That's the mechanism to plunder. If you teach people, no, that's within you. That's a picture of what's in within you. Then you don't plunder. But we're in this perversion of being loyal to the mother who plundered us. So it's a resistance to healing to not tell people that these monsters are just pictures of your id monsters. Okay? Just some symbol to represent your anger, your pain, your trauma, your rage, your hurt, and your anger around you not getting your needs met. You didn't get your needs met. It's invisible. So you create a picture of the Tasmanian devil character. That's not real. It's not. No violent Tasmanian devils gobbling. Okay, just a picture to discuss the inside, a reflection of the inside. Forbidden Planet contradicts the idea that there are real negative things out there like that, and embarrasses. It will embarrass paranoiac audiences by making them face the idea that the worst monster lies within us, in the pogo. It's within. It's within. The beast within, the monster within, the enemy within, the adversary within. It's all within. It's all within. Now, it's not against you. It's not against you. We just say that because we're just in a panic. It's just code for panic. We're scared. We're angry. It's not a monster. It's just a panic response. You're triggered that mother didn't love you, and you got a panic response. It's not a monster. It's not a beast. It's not a So so this film would help to teach you something like that. The hidden menace lurking in our minds is portrayed by the films Caliban, i.e., an invisible monster. The Tasmanian devil was called. I see. The Tasmanian devil was called the Caliban. I didn't know that. Caliban. Sorry, an invisible monster, the Tasmanian devil, literally made of power coming from Morbius's unconscious. Okay, and all the technology in the planet that has this fantasy technology that if you have a thought, it'll materialize it. So this ancient civilization called the Krell, they'd have a thought, it'd be there. They managed to materialize, make material their thoughts. They mastered physics or whatever it is to do that kind of thing. But what they forgot was they have an unconscious. So the unconscious will materialize those unconscious thoughts. They forgot about that. That's what the poor doctor guy learned that. The captain's assistant, the doctor guy. And they said Star Trek borrowed a lot of, you'll recognize a lot of things from that Forbidden Planet, you know, like the food replicator, okay, the 3D printing machine. So now we're talking about these 3D printing machines. You get a 3D printing machine, they say they want to put some animal cells and zap it, microwave it, add some chemicals, make some synthetic food. That Robbie the robot guy, he had a microwave in his body. He could make food in his body, like he was a machine robot. So they already showed you the food replicator in 1956. And the pattern, the captain and the doctor so they showed the same kind of pattern like that. Where are we here? Yeah, okay. So what I'm reading from is 2950. Some very good quotes in 2950. Go to 2950 for these quotes. So these quotes are a follow-up to our discussion on the Forbidden Planet, and recently in 49 we talked about the three faces of Eve. One. How are we doing? Oh, this. Oh, good things have quieted it down here. Maybe I'll take a little. Let me take a little break, and we'll do today's quotes about the imprint, the couple imprint, the couple imprint. Yeah, okay. So today we'll be. We're in the middle of a three-part video special run on the work of Anne Teachworth's book called "Why We Pick the Mates We Do." Why we pick the mates we do, yeah. And the last one, in the last video, parts 1 and 2, at the end of part 1 and also in part 2, we discussed 2941 And this video will be 42. The next one will be 43, obviously. So that's a 3-video run. So from 2941 to 3 video. So I plucked out the best quotes from that excellent self-help book. It's about the couple imprints. So why don't I just give me a minute to go for a walk or something, calm down. Let's see if I can. Let's try one last time. Let's try one last time to see if I can get a song up. Still, eh? Wow. Unbelievable. Still doesn't work, eh? Look at that. Thanks. Jesus, eh? Last time I just shaked it a bit and it worked. I'm not getting anything. Must be a loose wire or something. It's really gone, eh? Saved by Love by Rick Emmett. Saved by Love by Rick Emmett. Saved by Understanding. Saved by Awareness, Self-Awareness. Saved by Understanding. Saved by Love. Out on the borderline, where between heart and mind, trying to make it through, caught in a battleground, resistance is wearing down, couldn't face another day. All the days you came my way, and I'm saying I love. I'm lonely where to go. I'm saying I love. And I facing the world alone, out there in the red I know, but every turn just turns out wrong. And then came along, hope and faith were almost gone, gave me the strength to carry on. To everyone that I can count. Let's save ourselves. So let's continue here with the book called "Why We Pick the Mates We Do." So, as a setup, when there's trauma, we repeat. We haven't left the home, so to speak. The memories we created within of the home, we haven't left that. So you recreate in the present a version of that because you're still there. So you're still in the past. You haven't left mother's house. You haven't left father's house, psychologically speaking, because you didn't get your needs met. Like as just discussed, the person can't leave. Like like Reina, she couldn't leave. It was too much. Um, she didn't want to go. She didn't want to stay in that abusive home. She didn't want to regress like that. Um, forbidden, quote unquote forbidden. We got to develop forward. That's the healthy thing. Um, so she went kaput like that. So we recreate. Um, well, he went kaput. Sorry, he went kaput. The felt Morbius went kaput. Um, in the Star Trek, Reyna went kaput. So you got three there. The images, um, the two are your needs, and the feeling is your feelings. So the daughter and Reyna are the feelings, okay, and the captain and Morbius. That's like two sides of you, kind of needs wise. The needs of the two sides of your needs. Uh, your more basic ones, your developmental ones, and then you got um, what's his name? What's his name again? Methuselah, and Kirk. Yeah, like it's kind of like the needs of the two sides, right? The eternal love triangle. Of course, the baby loves his mother. Mother loves the baby. But if there's a problem there, how do they develop to the third? That's the triangle issue. Some fathers say, uh, some fathers are upset. Um, some fathers are unhappy in their marriage, and they say, "No, kid, stay with her. Sacrifice. Leave me alone. Wife, you can have the child. Leave me alone. I want to play with my hobbies in the garage." So that's a huge triangle issue. Um, the son escaped from the mother, went to the garage. Father said, "Leave me alone. Go back to your mother." So that child can get enough love to separate like that. Okay, so um, in the child spends the first 10 years of life internalizing their understanding of a couple. Like, what's a couple? Like, father, mother, what do they do? How do they act? How do they react to each other? How do they relate to each other? The father is like a role model of the father's side. The mother is the role model of the mother's side. And you got these two role models, these two parents. It's kind of like a training film, an induction film, a brainwashing film, a conditioning film, a Pavlovian conditioning film. Child says, gee, okay, father's like this, mother's like this. Okay, I got it. So that's my understanding of a relationship. That's my understanding of coupledom. So the child says to himself, gee, so when I grow up and I got to be in a couple relationship, I'll model myself after one of them and find a partner to play the other one and recreate in my coupledom the template that I have. So the point is when the child grows up, they don't choose what they consciously want. They choose how one of the parents chose. So if the first child born, if the firstborn is a daughter, chances are um, she's going to take after or role model herself after the father. That means when she grows up, she's going to marry a man with the personality of the mother because the father chose his partner, the mate. The father chose. So when she chooses how he chose. So she'll have a husband with the mother's personality. Not about gender like that, right? That's recreating in the present that past. She plays one, finds someone to play the other, and you're stuck in the past. You just create the present as a continuation of the past. The present is still the past, and you're stuck, and you're stuck with that kind of thing. Okay. Um, so now, if the firstborn is a son, the boy, okay, chances are he's gonna uh, role model himself after the mother. So when he grows up, he'll choose a wife with the same personality as his father because he chooses the personality of the personality his mother chose. Okay, so in short, he marries his father. She marries her mother, meaning she marries a man with the same personality like her mother. He marries a woman with the same personality like his father. The end result is they recreated the template. As above, so below, inside out. The outer is a reflection of the inner state. They created on the outer, in their life, external, a reflection of their inner state. What's the inner state? It's called the imprint, the couple imprint. They're going to create outwardly for their lives, okay, a reflection of the template, the imprint. So in the imprint, okay, in order to do that, they play one and find someone else to play the other. Now that other is called the role model mate, and they role model themselves after the other parent. So they're going to choose how the role model chose. So in the daughter's case, the role model is the father. So she'll choose a man with the personality, the same personality that her father chose in a woman. She'll choose in a man someone with that same personality. So the personality is the same. Okay? The father's wife's personality and her husband's personality, okay, it's the same. They're still in that imprint. Okay, so to make it clear, um, let's say the mother, let's say the daughter grows up thinking to herself, "Gee, when I get married, I really want a healthy kind of thing, a guy who's open and talks openly, makes I statements, and we discuss films together, and he's open, doesn't lie to me or something, or uh, I can feel safe around him. He's not going to shame me and say, 'Get over it. What's wrong with you?' You know, I don't want a dysfunctional relationship." No, if the parents are dysfunctional, she'll grow up, she'll recreate that same dysfunctional issue. Yeah? Same with the fellow. If the parents are kind of opposites in personality, when she grows up, it'll be opposites in her case. If the parents are like attracts like, similar, same kind of thing. You recreate a version of the template. So the issue is the template. You got to study this template. Psychoanalysis is the study of the templates. Psychoanalysis or object relations theory is the study of the internalization of the baby's first interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal, baby mother, interpersonal. The baby creates a stencil, stamp, imprint, and that's how he sees the world through, how he's going to live and abide and create in his life. He'll see things to fit the template, and his life will be a reflection of that template. That's the whole theory about psychoanalysis. And the energy, the machinery, yeah, the quell machinery, whatever, uh, has a lot of power like that. That's the iceberg metaphor. Yeah, we could say, yeah, we could go back to Forbidden Planet, that the planet was like the iceberg metaphor, and poor Morbius is the conscious guy, um, and he's unaware of the power of the unconscious. But he was trying to learn about the unconscious. He was sort of in the process. So I guess one message was don't think you can totally control it. Just cooperate, understand it. Maybe don't think you can tell your unconscious what to do. you got to read the messages from the. So actually, he was a philologist, right? He was a specialist in languages, so he was trying to translate those ancient hieroglyphics like that. Yeah, that's interesting about that. He was trying to learn the language of the unconscious. Oh yeah, that's right. He was a philologist, right? A philologist, a specialist in languages and linguistics and all that. So he was trying to study the language of the unconscious. So he spent 20 years trying to figure out the unconscious. That's like dream interpretation. Yeah. Very good film. Very good film. I'm surprised. I'm surprised to find. Oh, let me plug this back in. Hold a second. Let me plug it. This cord. This. I gotta update all this technology here. So let's say the daughter. I'll read you a quote about it. The daughter says to herself that when she grows up, she wants a normal, healthy relationship. Uh-uh. The machinery, the unfortunate, the id monsters say, uh-uh. You unconsciously have a wish to recreate your home life. The id monsters is going to make her reject and get out a healthy person. So if she likes a healthy person, the id monster will push him. The Tasmanian devil will push him away, or whatever, scare him off, and make her choose the perfect match for the imprint. The unconscious says, find a match for the imprint. Don't choose something in the future you think is good for you. No, no. Refer to the past and find a match for the past template. Because you didn't get your needs met there. How can you go forward if you didn't get enough love to source you to go forward? You're still stuck in that place of unmet love, unmet needs, unfinished business. So you're still there. That part of the brain doesn't know time. So the present's still the past. So this unconscious says, recreate the past. So this machinery, what's it called again? The Krell machinery, the planet machinery, the unconscious forces are involved here. The planet, the forbidden planet's involved here. This unknown, scary, forbidden planet, whatever you want to call it. It could be called unknown planet, forbidden planet, unknown planet. I guess they chose forbidden um, because it's forbidden territory uh, for any child to stay too long with the mother. It's forbidden for the child to stay too close to the mother. That's forbidden planet. He's got to go forward like that. It's one way to say forbidden. Another forbidden is don't think you're above the unconscious. Don't think you can keep saying get over it, get over it. Oh, it'll lash out. And that's what happened to the other people on the planet. They weren't there because they had maybe that idea. So at least Morbius had some respect for this planet, and he was drawn to the planet. And actually, even one of the characters saw the sky, the green sky. You know, I feel a certain appeal here as well. So there's some connection to your feeling life, your embodiment life, like that, the green sky. So the green sky was like the unconscious sky. Or in the conscious world, you have a blue sky. The unconscious world, there's a green sky to show you the two different worlds. We live in these two different worlds. So they went to the other world, right? This forbidden world is the other world. In the midlife audit, you go to this other world, and you want to get back yourself. So that film is just showing it that it exists, that there is this other world, and we don't know about it. Mr. Freud called it the dark continent or whatever. The instinct and the dangerous side of it all just means survival anxiety. The baby is survival anxiety. So in trauma, there's survival anxiety. That's why it's like jungle and dangerous like that. That's just code for the baby thought he was a goner and thinks the mother was a monster. That's his reactivity and rage like that to fight back at the mother. Mother, don't hurt me. Stop it, mother. So the baby wants to control the mother, possess the mother. Maybe the baby wants to devour the mother, control the mother. So you got this little inner conflict like this. No, mother, don't hurt me. Mother says, I'm sorry, baby. I have this compulsion to get my needs met. I'm going to parentify you. You're going to stand in for my missing mother. You're going to take care of me. Mother, I can't take care of you. You got to take care of me. No, you take care of me. No, you take care of me. You got this conflict like that. And they're both a survival issue, survival kind of thing. Um, okay, so the quote I'll read you is the woman um, consciously wanted a healthy relationship, but uh, the unconscious has pushed it away. The Tasmanian devil creatures pushed it away. The id monster pushed it away. No way. Um, that's a you can't do that. That's like a react. It's a terrible fear. If you, the unconscious is saying to the lady, if you want a healthy relationship, you, you're going to experience. You're trying to admit that you can live without never having been loved from a mother. That you don't need to mourn the loss of a loving mother that should have been there. You're trying to do all that. You're arrogant. You got hubris. You're really arrogant, like the Morbius guy. You think you can do this kind of thing? You think you can be happy without mourning? You think you can? You think you can be happy without admitting the truth that mother didn't love you, that mother failed you, that you didn't get your needs met? You think you can bypass that? That's called spiritual bypassing. The unconscious says, "Oh," Poseidon says, "No, no, you're going to suffer." He says, "You're going to feel." But our arrogance says, "I don't need that. Get over it. Get over it." I should play that song, eh? Okay, so the woman might consciously want a healthy thing, but the unconscious will freak out like that, um, and compel her um, to be wildly attracted and fall in love and be spellbound, be entranced, and magically, instantly fall in love with somebody who has the same personality um, of the person your father chose. You'll be entranced, okay? And you'll marry that person. So that's the power of the unconscious, the id. I mean, the unconscious. So she said, "Oh my God, what the hell is going on here? I didn't want to marry a verbally abusive man, just like my mother, and here it is. I was attracted to such a man, and a few months later, he was shouting at me, just like my mother. Yikes!" She ran away and repeated it. Did the same thing. Yikes! And she wasn't aware of it, so she kept repeating it. So here's the quote. Uh, quote, I married at 17. I married at 17 to get away from my mother. As I look back on my four marriages, okay, sorry. Again, um, I married at 17 to get away from my mother. As I look back on my four marriages, I've married my mother each time. These men treated me the same way she did. It's as if she was here all along, in spirit, inside all my husbands. They were all like my awful mother, one and the same. Now, I've spent 10 years in therapy working on my inner child's relationship with my mother. Now, you, Miss Teachworth here, now you're telling me that all along it's because I'm like my dad that I picked mates with my mother's personality? The real problem is that I'm attracted to the same kind of person my dad was attracted to, and so I naturally selected the same type of mate he did? Are you bleeping me? Unquote. Um, the subconscious goal is to recreate the inner couple. Your mother and father's relationship, like it or not, became the basis for all later intimate relationships between you and other human beings in your adult life. Since there were only these two roles in your relationship example, you will take after one of these adults more than the other. The set of instructions that led you to pick the mate you did was, in every sense of the phrase, a post hypnotic suggestion because it functioned without your conscious awareness, controlling whom you would attract, select, and marry. Okay, she likens it to the hypnotist who, the stage hypnotist who finds a traumatized person in the audience, who never had a mother, yearning for a mother. So bring him on stage. Um, your eyes are getting sleepy. Okay, count to 10, 9, 8, sleepy, sleepy. Okay, I'm your mother. Me, the hypnotist, I'm going to stand in for your missing mother. You want a mother? Here I am. So all babies follow and obey the mother. So the hypnotizee will obey the hypnotizer. So the hypnotizer, i.e., the mother, says to the baby, i.e., the hypnotizee. Hypnotizer says, "All right, you're a duck. I want you to make the duck sounds." And sure enough, he obeys, just how any baby would obey his mother. Every baby will dance to any tune, whatever tune the mother says. So the hypnotizer has that power. So sure enough, the guy um, hears, "Mommy wants me to make a duck sound." "Yes, mommy." They quack, quack. He quacks. Everybody in the audience laughs, and then he says, "Okay, good, imprint. Now, for the rest of this afternoon in the lecture here, when you hear me say the word duck, I want you to quack. Okay? Yes, mommy. Okay, now I'm gonna wake you up. On the count of 5, I'm gonna snap my fingers and wake you up. Got it? Okay, yes, mommy. Hypnotist. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Snap. Okay, you're awake now. Oh, I'm awake. Please tell us what you just experienced." No clue. Doesn't understand. Okay, good. He goes back to the chair. An hour later, the hypnotist makes a joke about a duck or something. The moment he says the word duck, the person in the audience starts quacking like that. Everybody's freaked. Everybody's laughing again. And he says, "Why am I doing this? What the hell?" Okay, um, 5, 4, 3, 2, you're, the trance is over. The suggestion is over. You no longer have to do anything I say. Uh, 5, 4, 3. He snaps him out of it. So the baby's like that. The baby is hypnotized, and it's as if the hypnotizer says, "When you grow up, you're going to marry someone just like how one of the parents chose. So you choose one and choose the parent to fill in the other one." Hypnotist, like quack, quack. So you see somebody quack, you marry them. Like a post-hypnotic suggestion. She means it like that. Left untreated, the unconscious inner couple imprint. Okay, left untreated, the unconscious. Let's do it this way. Left untreated, the unconscious inner couple imprint will become the client's only couple imprint for his or her own relationships later in adulthood. It's not how our mother or father was with us that determines who we select as a mate. So right out, that's a key sentence. You think you choose based on you and the mother or you and the father. Uh, it says put that idea aside for a while. You're going to choose based on how your role model parent chose. That's your choice because you're going to recreate the imprint. Right? It's getting dark here soon. Eh? All right. Boy, the day goes quickly. By the time I get to these places, it's usually 3 o'clock. I got 2 hours of light left. It gets dark so quickly. Let's see what time is it. 5:25. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Let's speed it up then. Okay. All right. This point's important about the 3 chair exercise, the part B coming up. Okay. It's not how our mother or father was with us that determines who we select for a mate. It's how our mother and father were with each other in our early relationship that forms the marriage imprint or the couple imprint. For your inner adult, there is always one way to be when you grow up and have a relationship. Be like one of them. So you're going to be like one of them. You're going to be like the father, you're going to be like the mother. You're going to play one of them. You're going to mimic them, take after them, act like them, choose like them, think like them, be like them. That's your role model. You're going to you're going to play that one. And then you're going to find someone else to play the other one. You're going to find someone else to play the other. So you're going to recreate that imprint in the present. So you play one, find someone else to play the other, right? You play one, so the daughter plays the father, and she finds a man to play the mother, and she's still there. Nothing to do with gender. Yep. He is going to pick how the mother picked, so he plays the mother, and he's going to find someone to play the father side. So the wife will be like the father, like, have the personality of the father, and he'll have the personality of the mother. His wife will have the personality of the father. Bingo, you recreated it, you did it. So-called perfect match. When we say match, she means template match, not healthy selection of the choice of the conscious mate that you want. She uses the word match in terms of past template match. That's a match or a match. You're talking about the past, not the healthy thing in the future you want. Right? Now, of course, we're not talking about healthy people. If children have healthy parents, then when they grow up, they'll have a healthy relationship. If the child had dysfunctional parents, when they grow up, they'll recreate that same dysfunction, basically. She says 75 most of the time. Okay, so so you play one, find someone for the other, and then have a relationship like theirs. So your relationship with your spouse will be just like the relationship between your parents. Be like that inner couple, and then you'll be like that inner couple. The inner couple was the training film that you watched every day as a child. Your parents had the two lead roles in this relationship training film that gave you your first and only couple imprint in your early years. Let me think here. Maybe I can walk over to the other place. Uh, hmm. Okay, let's try again. The inner couple was the training film you watched every day as a child. Your parents had the two lead roles in this relationship training film that gave you your first and only couple imprint in your early years. As a result, you saw only two models of how to be in a grown up relationship. You're going to be like him or you're going to be like her. It's your very own home video, induction training, brainwashing, conditioning, Pavlovian, stenciling, imprinting in your brain. It's your very own template of a couple in action. There are only two lead roles in this film, and in order for the replay of the film to begin in your adulthood, you must first find someone to cast in the other lead role. That's your match. Okay? The inner mate, called the inner mate. About 75% of the time, when you grow up, and your programming surfaces, the inner adult part of you chooses the same type of mate that your adult role model parent chose. One like the other parent. So when the child takes after, if the daughter takes after the father's considered um, the role model, right? The who the father married, that's the model mate. If or the matchmate. If your personality is more like your father's, if your personality is more like your father's, then he is your inner adult model, and you will pick a mate like he did, someone with your mother's emotional makeup, because she is your inner mate model. If you are more like your mother, then she is your inner adult model, and you will pick someone with your father's personality and behavior, no matter which gender you are. Then he then he would be your inner mate model. Okay, here's the key line here. We subconsciously or unconsciously copy the personality of one of our parents and then act it out in a relationship with someone like our other parent. Again, we subconsciously copy the personality of one of our parents and then act it out in a relationship with someone like our other parent. I'm kind of accentuating it here. Um, we have chosen we have chosen that person as a mate for his or her ability to interact in a very familiar pattern to our parents. It's not about the stars. It's not about hormones. It's not about pheromones. It's not about um, past lives or something. It's not with the fortune teller. Forget that stuff. It's not the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Although some people argue the modern one, the way to a man's heart is through his. Okay, fill in the blank. That's for men or women who link up uh, feelings and body, right? But if it's split up, it's not going to work. Right? If you've ever been attracted to someone who wasn't good for you, in love with someone you didn't even like, or unable to find the kind of person you always wanted to be with, well, you are one of the thousands of people who have already experienced a conflict between what the conscious mind wants and what the subconscious mind demands. That's another message of the story. Morbius said, "No, no, I want this." Um, the unconscious demands, right? So that's the message of the Krell. The Krell, the conclusion of the Krell people on Forbidden Planet. They were always doing the conscious choice, conscious choice, conscious choice. They ignored the unconscious choices, and then their own Tasmanian devil, uh, because they mastered the ability to materialize their wishes. So that materialization of their wishes gobbled them up. So they were gone a million years ago. So they were so advanced. They were so advanced, but they forgot something. They forgot their unconscious. That's a message for us. Very good film. Very very good basic message. They should have promoted it. They should have maintained the original promotion of it. And it should have the same popularity as Star Trek. It should have the same level of popularity as Star Trek. Maybe that's why Star Trek did a follow up episode on it, you know, as a tribute to it. And then the Star Trek ended, season three, right? Yeah. So maybe they got punished for that, right? What, you promoted psychoanalysis with that episode? Oh, we're gonna end your contract's over. We're gonna finish up here. Maybe that was the ending of it, because no one knows why the thing ended abruptly like that. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new land, but in seeing with new eyes. That's a very appropriate one-liner here. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new land, okay, but in seeing with new eyes, i.e., look inward. Man in the mirror, mirror man. Back to the Twilight Zone. Uh, nervous man in a $4 room. Uh, the mirror man. Man in the mirror. Well, mirror man, mirror man. Yeah, mirror man. So I should have played it. Oh my God, I forgot to copy it. So a very good. I'll discuss that again. I want to play Mirror Man by the band Prism. We've got I think three. What's going on here? Oh, something's happening here. Contrast, lighting. What's this? What's all this? We've got I think three songs by Prism. Is that right? Soul Surgery, very good one. Soul Surgery. I need Soul Surgery. A cover of April Wine's song original. Soul Surgery. I think Virginia's on there just for fun, just the musical fun one. I forgot the third one, but I'll play. Mirror Man is an okay song. It's not like one of the big hits or anything. It's an okay song, but if you look at the lyrics to Mirror Man, it's exactly pretty much to a T, describing the miserable guy in the Twilight Zone episode. He's a petty criminal. Um, all this stuff about him being a petty criminal with an uncertain future and living a poor life and waiting on the phone. And he was waiting on the phone, waiting on the phone. It was kind of like a direct copy. I'm pretty confident that the Prism's Mirror Man, sung by Ron Tabak, uh, I'm pretty sure that song is a tribute or based on that episode. Um, it's funny. It's funny how you say things, and on the, you get the news feed based on what you say. I got a news feed message saying, "Oh, there's going to be a new channel, 24/7 channel of constant reruns of the Twilight Zone, a, a Twilight Zone channel just for the original series, not the follow-up ones. So the follow-up ones are excellent. I've just begun in on the original one. That's my first comment on the original one, the Mirror Man, a nervous man in a $4 room. Okay, that's what I just read was yesterday's 2941. That's sort of the core of it. Today's 42, right? Let's see. Um, do I do it here or do a part two? I began suggesting to my other clients that, okay, this is the role play stuff. Oh boy. Okay, so to get out of this, we do a role play thing. I began suggesting to my other clients that they also role play their parents fixing their relationship with each other in order to create a precedent inside their own memories. Practicing this new experience of their parents resolving their relationship would make it easier for my clients to be different with each other now. Imagine you are a child again. How would you like each of your parents to be with each other? And then role play that. Certainly not perfect mates for each other. They were, however, a perfect match. Yeah. What happens when we consciously decide to pick someone opposite from our previous partner is that we switch over to the other parent role model in our relationship, even though the decision to switch role models may have been made in order to avoid the same negative relationship outcome. Okay, so sometimes that woman let's say the woman had a quiet kind of uh, intellectual, I don't know, bookworm kind of husband, and the mother was the more emotional, demanding, manipulative one or something. And she doesn't want a man like the mother. And she 4 times in a row she chose a man like the mother. She may, in her anger, flip it. She'll be like the mother and choose a quiet husband. But the template's still recreated. She just flipped it. That sometimes happens. All I got from all I got from therapy was how my partner and I should behave as a married couple. We never knew why we did what we did to each other. Now all we have to do is look at the training film each of us watch daily from birth to 5 years old to see how we are under stress. Your relationship will only go as far as this old programming can take it, and no further, unless you get out of your trance and override the post hypnotic suggestion. Okay, maybe I'll just leave it there for your reading for reference. So the key point here is the three chair exercise. As a child, how do you wish your parents interacted with each other? How do you wish they spoke with each other? How do you wish they solved their problems? How kindly do you wish your parents were? Imagine that and then role play it with two chairs. Be the healthy father talking to the mother, and be the healthy mother responding to the healthy father, and bounce back and forth, role playing an updated version of your parents, the parents you wish you had. Yes, it's positive, fake memories, but you want to create some kind of precedent in your mind to refer to later on. So you do different scenes. So imagine your father apologizing to your mother. Okay, you play that man. You say, my name is, and you say your father's name, and I'm going to apologize to uh, my wife over there. And you hop over there and say, yes, hi, my name is, and you say your mother's name. You role play your mother, and I look forward to this apology. Actually, I also have to make an apology to him. And then you hop over and play him making an apology, saying, I did this thing, I feel really badly. Um, Next time I like to talk about it before I act out like that. And he makes an I statement about it. Okay, maybe he uses the Susan Campbell's unilateral repair statement in 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 her book from trigger to tranquility, which we discussed in 2360. In our collection here, 2360. There's an abridged version of it. So you role play how to make an apology. Study how to do it first and give it to your father and be that father giving the apology. And then you be the mother accepting the apology, and you role play how you wish your mother had spoke to your father. And then she makes an apology, giving empathy, making I statements, discussing something. And scene after scene, you role play your parents having fun together, discussing a film together, solving a problem together. Um, uh, maybe taking a course together, or maybe watching a film together, or playing together, dancing together, whatever you want. Just role play. Just write it down in advance, and then role play it with the two chairs. So you physically hop back and forth, playing a healthy father, talking to a healthy mother, and just do this again and again. So then you have some alternative to refer to later on when you're relating to people. Okay, so the main example was this couple. Their marriage was on the rocks. They were about to divorce. So they went to Miss Teachworth here, the author of the book, Miss Teachworth. She said, Miss Counselor, please teach us how to communicate with each other. Teach us how to solve our problems. Teach us how to communicate effectively. Teach us conflict resolution skills. Teach us how to do this stuff. We don't know how to talk to each other. All we do is fight. All we And she said, oh no. No. Well, that's why we're here. Here's how it's going to work. You, ma'am, I'll see you on Mondays, and you, sir, I'll see you on Tuesdays. All work individually. I'm not going to face you with each other and teach you like that. Forget that stuff. Okay, what do we got to lose? Okay, so on Monday she comes, and she's very excited. Okay, so I see. So you're going to role play me, and I'm going to role play him. I'm going to role play me, and you're going to role play my mother or him. What are we doing here? Your clients are your mother and father in your head. My mother and father in my head. Yeah, I'm going to address, well, you and I are going to address your mother and father in your head. What the hell? So when you were a child, how did your parents interact with each other? Oh, miserable, miserable, this and that, this and that. Okay. How do you wish they interacted with each other? Oh, gee, I wish he would speak nicely to her and tell her that if he's triggered, that he was triggered by something, and to share what old feelings from childhood was brought up by the catalyst trigger, and to share that intimacy and vulnerability that something in childhood was brought up by the trigger, and that it's not about her, it's just what she did remind her of the mother, and to share that kind of intimacy and seek empathy for her like that. So you would like them to make eye statements. That's right. I wish my parents had some kind of ritual process where they would share the eagle's feather and take turns speaking honestly with each other as best they can and having the skills to do so. Okay, so you role play that. I role play it. Yes, here's two chairs. You role play your father holding the eagle's feather. You might do the smudge, set the intention, and you're going to make an eye statement. You're going to say, that something happened and remind you of the past, and you're going to share that. You hop over and give empathy to yourself, to him. You receive the empathy, and then you play her sharing her I statement, and you give empathy to her. Oh, I see. Okay, so you do that. Um, you do a round of making I statements. You play your father being healthy, making an I statement to your mother. You play your mother giving empathy for that, and then in turn making an I statement to him. You pass the eagle feather back and forth, where you learn, you grow closer, you're open and vulnerable, you're honest, because the eagle feather means it's soulful. You got to be soulfully honest like that. You set the intention, call in directions, eagle feather, smudge, whatever. Set the ritual up. That's a container that your parents are going to feel safe. And you want to see your parents interacting with each other where they learn, grow, heal, develop, have self awareness, discuss, confuse, just keep discussing, and they make I statements. They don't blame and attack, they just say about their childhood, what came up, and share that and ask empathy. She wants empathy, he wants empathy. So role play your parents giving empathy to each other. Okay, so when that happened, you felt that. As a child, you had a need for safety and connection. Wasn't that you were enraged? That's what came up by the memory of it. Okay, you must, and then validate for each other. I get it now. You absolutely have a very good reason for feeling like that. You really have a good reason. That's right. Thank you for that. Thank you for validating that I have a good reason for feeling this. It was hurtful. What's the most angriest thing about that? Great question. And you say some more about it, and then the two might grieve together. They have be a caring witness. So counselor says to the client, so you want to be a caring witness. You want your father to be a caring witness to her, and you want her to be a caring witness to him. So role play that caring witness back and forth dialogue. Okay, so that's on Monday. Okay, Tuesday, the guy comes in and he said, "What should I do here? Um, are you going to play my wife? I'm going to practice talk to my wife use with her, and you're going to teach me how to talk. Are you going to play her, or are you going to play me and I play? Or are you going to do like a Gestalt teacher? No. Or you're going to try to heal my childhood or something? Why am I here? You and I are going to create a new precedent in your brain of what a couple imprint should be. And you're going to function from this new parallel, healthier template. How the hell do I do that? Well, okay, and then she gives him the same kind of instructions, and he does the same kind of thing. Okay, role play your father planning a playful activity with her. And how do you want her to respond? And role play her response. Okay, and then do that. Okay, Monday, same thing with her. Tuesday, same thing with him. And this goes on for a few months. And sure enough, after a few months, the couple started to respectively refer to their imaginary new templates. But that was a springboard to allow them to relate to each other in a healthier way. They saved their marriage, they were more intimate, and what they practiced in the role play, they applied to each other, and they felt the confidence to do so, and they saved their marriage. So you want to create a new precedent. Yes, it's positive fake memories. Yes, we get that. There should have been positive memories there anyway, so you just kind of filling in what should have been there, but you use that um, to decide upon later on. So it takes a while for her to set him um, a healthier template to refer to. It takes a while for him to do the same thing because they got to learn communication skills, not for themselves, not to role play them and their mother or couple to couple. No, you got to give it to your father. You got to give it to your mother. You got to have a healthy father in your head. You got to have a healthy mother in your head. Hence, you got to have a healthy relationship in your head. If you can create a healthy relationship in your head, you can be inspired to springboard from that in your actual present. So it turned out, sure enough, they saved their marriage like that. That's called the three-chair exercise. I've done a few examples of it in recent videos, so I won't do it here. Got no lighting. Yeah, I wonder if I do this, do I get better lighting? Does that work? I think I'm on maximum. I've got maximum lighting here. Yeah, that's it, eh? That's the maximum. Look at that, eh? So it's actually possible to do a video at night here, eh? Oh, oh, wait a minute. Let me try. Yeah, let me try something here. Hold on a second. Let me switch over. I might get better lighting if I turn around. What's going on here? Uh oh. Uh oh. No. Oh, I got this square thing going on. My camera just made a certain kind of like a little square. I'm seeing myself in a bit of a square within a square. Uh oh. How do I get rid of that? Oh, how did that happen? But it does give me more light, right? Can I go back to the old way? What's the same? Oh, it's stuck like that. I must have triggered something. Hmm. Oh, hang on, hang on. This chair has more light. Hang on, hang on. What about here? Yeah, yeah. There's more light here. Hold on a second. I still have that square thing. If I can figure out how to use this at night, my goodness. How do I? I see myself like in a square. There's this huge, like 1 inch, 2 inch border thing. Okay, whatever. Let me uh, let me get my stuff here. Hold on a second. This is better, right? This way. This way. Aha. Something like this. Oh, I've got no fan here if I do it like this. the band Lunik. Let's take a musical break here. This is a song called Constant Tourist by the band Lunik. These quotes that we're posting here, maybe we can say that they're helping us to move towards no longer feeling like a constant tourist to ourselves, so we can feel at home within and no longer a tourist to ourselves.
Forehead is set. Don't touch, taste, but don't swallow. Heart has been your playground. You never ask, you never apologize. I was standing outside powerless, watching you fade away. You've always been out of reach. By your side, I always felt stuck in a waiting room. Did never catch the train of our land. I was running without leaving. I consider as I have been in your world. You're my deepest cut. The wound doesn't bleed anymore. Now the scar hurts. Oh, I was standing outside powerless, watching you fade away. You've always been out of reach. By your side, I always felt stuck in a waiting room. Did never catch the train around the land. I was running without leaving. I consider as I have been in your world. They wonder why I wasn't maybe stay so long. Oh, maybe it's like I've always put you first. Well, you did too. I consider as I have been in your world. Like your side always felt stuck in a waiting room. They never catch the train along the land. I was running without leaving. I consider as I have been in your world. By your side, I always felt stuck in a waiting room. They never catch the train along the line. I was running without leaving. I consider as I have been in your world. I consider as I have been.
Okay, let's pack it up and or maybe let's see. Hold on. I'm never here at night. I think I'm freaking out the staff here. I've never done this at night here. That's because I got the new phone here. Let's see. Does it work here? Or just wrap it up here? Uh, yeah, maybe I can just wrap it up here. So the rest of the codes for dispatch are below. The strength. Oh, now it's back to normal here. Oh, now here we go. This looks more normal. Okay, then and then coming up is 2943. Yeah, okay. 2943. Write down how you would have wanted your parents to change or fix their relationship. Who would you have wanted to do what? How would the other parent respond differently? Role play them doing that. Okay? So their parents became my clients. As a therapist, my initial intervention is therefore directly into the parents' relationship in the past rather than into the couple's relationship in the present. Their parents became my clients. So if the mother doesn't have any assertiveness skills, we'll give her assertiveness skills. If the father doesn't make an I statement, make him have an I statement. Healing begins when we come out of the trance and recognize that our inner adult imprint in ourselves. Waking up means that we realize that some of the transferences are coming from our own early program. Okay, play on the word transference. Trans-ferences, trans with a C. That's the problem, not the solution. The solution lies not in what our partner should do to fix the relationship, but in the knowledge of what our inner couple role models could have done to fix theirs and making the change there. Children are very impressionable. While your conscious mind is looking for the perfect mate for your future, your subconscious mind is searching for the perfect match to your past. And your subconscious mind is in charge. Calling You get a person who can act like your mate model parent did with your adult role model parent. Your inner child grows up to become the inner adult and makes the same mating decision as your pre-programmed adult role model parent did. My husband had to deal with the growing realization that he had married a girl just like his undear old dad, not his mother. So again, not about gender. So the man married a woman like his father, not mother. Okay, if the couple were both alcoholics, chances are, okay, they'll recreate that. If the parents are both homebodies, they might recreate that. Like attracts like. Yeah, the one example was that the guy, in his mind, the parents were opposites. He liked a girl who was opposite to him, so he liked her. But in her mind, the parents were the same, so she would not be attracted to him because that'd be the opposites. She's got to follow her imprint, like attracts like. So she'll marry someone like herself. I mean, she'll choose after one of the parents. That parent chose like attracts like. So she'll end up with a like attracts like. But in the man's mind, it's the opposites. So he liked her because she was opposite to him. But she didn't like him because she could only like attracts like. Let's yeah, okay, let's wrap it up here. Oh, maybe I don't want to interrupt the staff's routine here or anything like that. Okay, let's just wrap it up. Let's close up with our theme song or some other song. Oh, the light? You are the light? Let's pick a song. Let's pick another song here. Shrinker man, shrinker man. Storyteller, street harp. 100 Tears Away. Ain't Life a Brook. Uh, the audio is not going to be too clear on it. Lose My Way. Rise. When the Boss Is Coming. You Are the. Let's just close up with our opening one here. You Are the Light. All right. Okay, let's close up with You Are the Light by the classic rock band Harlequin. Thanks very much. You are the light. Be the light. Find the light. Get back your authentic self. Be the light. Shine the light. Because you are the light. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video. For the love of Nehru Medicine.